Welcome back. Seems they've got their technical issues fixed. And it's going to be on Apotheosis. Get in the game. You here?
Oh, okay, that's my end. Hello this time.
Oh, hello.
I was sneezing and I forgot to mute. I was gonna say Apotheosis, though. This is a map we actually see Zerg really like to pick versus Terran, due to its long distance. So,
Yeah.
for many funny reasons that it would eventually be good for Bly, and maybe it won't be in this one time. I don't know. I will say this, guys. I was actually talking to Bly a little bit during the break. I'm gonna give you no spoilers, but this guy wants to dress to impress. We'll say, for now. More into that later if we see things arise. But in the top left side of Apotheosis, we do have the blue Zerg player. It's Bly.
In the bottom right, is the red Terran. He is Clem.
So I want to talk about the interesting, I guess, goal of Bly, I guess. Oh, I mean, ultimately for both players. For those who already have forgotten, the tournament itself is made possible thanks to, O-Gaming putting this together, but also Match Arena for the prize pool. And Bly wants to try and get that prize pool up, but obviously, we can't just donate for no reason, guys. It's a series you're not enjoying, but make sure to give him money or this, that, the other. So his goal, he said, is he wants to make the viewers enjoy it enough that they might consider donating. So maybe we'll start seeing something different. Maybe he just goes crazier than average. I mean, I don't know what that means for Bly necessarily, but we did talk for a little bit during that break. So if anyone, do we have a command set up for the Match Arena page? I don't even know.
A command?
If we don't,
I don't think so.
Well, if we don't, if one of the mods could find it, that'd be super awesome. Unfortunately, all the freebie codes we talked about earlier have been used up. So, again, if you really like what the players are doing, if you're having a good time watching, consider throwing in a couple of bucks. But really, it's up to you guys.
Yeah. They're already at almost $400, $362. So,
Nice.
A lot of people have already put their own money in, which is great. And of course, Bly would like more. So, Apotheosis might be in, today's map pool, but you're right, it is often chosen by the Zerg player, so it's not exactly a great thing for Clem to go into. But it is a lot more standard. You don't have these super ultra small maps where, yeah, a more old-fashioned aggressive Terran could probably abuse just as much as Bly does. Clem is clearly not that type of player and does not feel comfortable in the maps. Maybe this will go better because he has just a familiar feeling here. But Bly is also just dominating with mutas, and Apotheosis is one of those maps you can go mutas, and in fact, muta lane bling.
That is what's surprising me about the mutas and the dynamic here, where it has fallen out of fashion, if we're going to be honest. It's no longer fashionable to show up to the party with mutas the way it used to be.
Yeah.
Oh, if you pulled that drone there, I think you could have caught that Reaper, but either way, not too much problems made. Clem, of course, is only gone for the one, so not like there's 3 racks down knocking at his doorstep. Bly, he goes for that faster layer. It's probably going to be mutas again.
Oh, God.
Once again, another strong. Yep, I'm just going to say it. Clem's really not good at controlling these Reapers. That's twice now where it's not that Bly did crazy good tactics. The first time was slowlings off of creep. This time, same situation. Clem's not really paying attention to such an important unit for scouting.
Yeah.
Now, maybe it's because he figures, all right, I know Bly is just getting me a 2-base muta. I don't need to scout it. But still, the presence of the Reaper being there is fairly important.
No, it's definitely something he needs to save. I think the biggest thing is that he just never expects the lings to go off of creep. Usually, if you're off of creep, you're safe, but really not ultra super safe, as we can see. So he needs to, every time that he needs to go back home and macro, which is exactly what he's doing when he loses that Reaper, he needs to actually send it to a ledge or something like that, and then it should be safe enough. But he will have the similar build to last game, so he's stopping with the tank drops, and especially on Apotheosis, where, yeah, there's a couple of ledges, if it took the gold base, for instance, you could abuse. The distance it takes to get there is just too long. You just don't want to do a tank push.
Oh.
So.
Also, understanding what's going on in chat now, we're using a minute more delay than everyone else, but I don't really care about restarting the stream for it.
Oh,
Everyone's on a delay of some variety. It looks like they're on 2 minutes and we're on 3. Oh well.
That sucks. It makes ads so
No
much easier to
spoilerinos,
play.
please.
Yeah. Well, the Spire is on the way, so yeah, 2-base muta. Doesn't have to go for this. I mean, he could go for 3-base and then, no upgrades, or he could just go for really any variety. He's got time here, but with no 3rd base, And Aspire... Oh, okay, the third base is at the gold base now. With no third base early and Aspire almost already done, this medevac drop is going to be as awkward as it... Actually, more awkward, potentially, than it was last game on the Antigua Shipyard, because it might try and unload as the mutas pop out, which is even worse than what happened with Clem unloading all 16 Marines on creep surrounded by lings. We'll see what the timing actually looks like here, though. 6 mutas are on the way out, so they got like 20 seconds here. He's going to be able to unload maybe on the edge of creep, scan once, and then he should just run away, as lings will be on the way out. Unless he tries to micro against the lings, in which case he can take down a number, but at the risk of losing all of his medevacs like last game.
Well,
oh, he
look
actually
at
moves
that
on
fight in the middle.
Nope, 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 nope.
I mean, yeah, it's unfortunate, but this is something where if there was another drop segmented off to the side, a retreat like this isn't so bad, because that now drives Bly back home because he has to stop what's going toward his main. But this is not that beyond style of play that we've been talking about seeing. The medevac goes down, the Marines inside of it even worse so, and as that boost wears out, the mutas will pounce. So I mean, he has to start unloading, and unfortunately unloads over unpathable terrain, so doesn't even fully get everything unloaded properly. The mutas don't even go down, takes out the medevac, cleans up the Marines, and Bly is just, once again, playing this out the same way it has been in the last several games. Difference being we're seeing Widow Mines this time, actually.
Yeah, not tanks. I like this change-up. That's going to be much more helpful against the muta harassment. It's also the case that he got the wall up, you know, pretty damn quick, and he's covering it with Marines, so he's going to be able to use his production, get his third CC. He did have to start his upgrades. They're already about halfway done before his third CC, so that kind of, I guess, is not exactly ideal. But everything is going to the macro game, at least. Trying to. Bly, trying to be fancy with his mute, is a little more difficult against Widow Mines. Has sacrificed 2 of them, now 3. The missile turrets, and there's still 2 more. But the Marines are almost dead. Where's that Marine production? Clem is just mismacroing. He needs to get his barracks down, too. Oh, he needs his barracks. He needs... Oh, God, no. No, Bly shouldn't be able to end the game here, especially because he's not reinforcing with lings. Oh, that last Widow Mine hit got all the mutas. Whoa! Ooh, okay. Call that overconfidence. Finally, we have the barracks coming down and an armory, hopefully? Oh, no, I was going to mistime it with his 1-1. And Bly is transferring over into roaches, but... I mean, Clem sees that. He just doesn't want to go out and get it because he thinks it's going to be a bait. And if I were him, I think it was bait too. Be very careful that I did this. I like it a lot. I like what he did.
It does make you go, why? Why is this happening?
I like what he did though. It's like, you Marines, go. You can die.
Yeah.
No one else.
Well, Clem is actually turtled up in a very interesting manner here. With all the Widow Mines and the Liberators set out, the Mutalists aren't really destined to do much, yet they still manage to get to the bottom right. They still manage to get to the mineral lines. They're likely going to die. Maybe not. The Liberators giving pursuits. Nah, looks like he should be able to get out of there. Maybe that's part of the hatchery. That was the distraction. Look over here while I hit with the mutas. He only ends up killing 2 SAVs for it. But elsewhere on the map, oh, awkward as he does get caught. One more shot kills a couple of mutas. For some reason, watching the Liberators instead of the mutas, but whatever.
Shut up.
Roaches coming up behind us. Plenty of them too. I think Bly's realized he's a little bit worried about the supply count. This may have been like an easy start to the game from him, but he needs a proper follow-up. We're also going to see those infestors come out. We all know the combination of fungal growth and corrosive bile is good enough to kill Korean Terrans. I'm sure it'll be good enough to deal with Clem.
Yeah. Bly once again just not, I guess, taking his gases quite as fast as he could have. Banking a lot of minerals. Now it's taking them. Got that gold base up for you know, first and foremost. 4th is up with gases already here. And he is looking to still take control of this game, even though he almost had it if he was able to break down that wall. Lings get in without breaking down any wall whatsoever. Into the natural, into the main base. Because the army is a little bit late, Bly has a chance to get caught up in upgrades, but he's using all of his gas to go into infestors. And Clem is trying to push out here. It's not a bad-sized force at all. In fact, there's a lot of Widow Mines. 9 Widow Mines. As long as they don't all bulk up to, you know, corrosive bile hits or if they're banelings, that's a lot to, you know, micro around, basically. Like, Bly can't just go running in here. He's going to lose a lot of damage on his roaches, but it is roaches, not lings, so...
The widow mines are such an interesting aspect of this because they're just gonna be corrosive bile. Like you don't even need detection for it. You can see pretty clearly where widow mines are. Yeah, without detection, and then just use the corrosive biles. They leave this giant divot in the ground that's easily spotted, not something that you need map hacks for exactly.
Well, I fear without tanks, he's not gonna be able to do very much. The widow mines are the first, like, please don't come near me. But once you realize there's more roaches than there are lings, then you gotta back off. So I like that he goes elsewhere.
Unloading perhaps to claim some creep. Hopefully we're going to see Hive Tech start up behind this, so we might see Bly take it that extra direction. Again, he did say he wanted to make this more interesting, so maybe we'll start seeing Ultras or Broodlords or something other than the normal. But for now, combination of Fungal Growth and Corrosive Biles are more than enough to deal with everything that's going on. The Liberators could actually be killed. He's busy looking for the Medivacs. Either would be good to kill. In fact, I'm a little bit worried about the Liberators behind him because now he has to worry about those possibly sieging up. So Corrosive Biles rain down on top of them.
Yeah, Medevac's still being chased by the
He wants
mutas,
that
though. Oh, God. He wants a Corsair Bile or anything. He wants to kill that last Medevac. Damn.
I know. The two of them are within, like, one-hit kill range. I mean, even the Fungal Growth alone will kill it with its damage over time.
Okay,
But just has to keep an eye on it. But the anti-air going down means these mutas will kill so much supply in two Medevacs.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Gonna try and make... I mean, as long as he's keeping the army back at home and macroing okay back at his base, which he kind of is, I guess this can sometimes be okay. It's down 50 army supply, but if Clem has 3 more minutes to recover, then maybe he can recover. It's not a very powerful position for Terran. He's got a 4th base on the way, and a 2nd factory has been built already. So he does have double tank production, which he needs against not just the Roaches and Ravagers, but the Infestors and even the Ultras.
Well, so that's 2 things, right? Ultras Kevin on the way for the production tab, but I spy with my little eye something silly as well.
Neural Parasite.
Neural Parasite. If you... I think we've tested this, right? Like, if you neural a Medevac full of Marines, you don't get the Marines inside of it, right?
I don't remember testing that. I'm pretty sure you don't.
Pretty sure you don't. That'd be broken. That'd be super broken. It'd be cool, though. Anyways, Lings over here just going to end up sacrificing themselves. Bly seeing the timing on that 4th as well, kind of knows about where it's at. He's actually going to lose one of his bases over here, but it wasn't really saturated, so it's not the biggest loss to take. In fact, if you can kill the 2 Medevacs for it, it'll actually be more expensive for Clem than it would have been for Bly. But the Mutalisks are alone, unfortunately without that proper support, so they're going to take some pretty nasty hits.
Yeah, all dead now. Drones are going to get slaughtered as well, as the army has to run around the ledge here. And ooh, plating will be denied.
And Ultras in general didn't get to actually start any.
Maybe the Spire. It would be a relief not to worry about a greater Spire either, and he gets it and gets out of there somehow with the Infestors running his tail.
So much of this game has been focused around Bly and his mutas. This game, not so much the case.
Oh, oh my god.
Oh, no Bailey speed.
Yeah. There's
so
tanks too, but... that was a
dear.
waste.
Well, quite the bank ready to go for potentially Ultras, but I do want to point out Clem's actually already making ghosts. Bly may be teching himself into a corner here, so to speak, as sticking with Ravagers and Fungals may be better than any combination of Ultras or Neural Parasites.
Yeah. Well, you know, if he gets a Fungal and the Ghosts, it's all Gucci anyway, but...
I wonder if it's worth... You get a Ghost Neuraled and then just snipe the other Ghost with it.
Ghost Neuraled? Why would that be worth it?
Because it'll do more damage than a Fungal would.
Clem is looking the best he's had in these last 9 games here, and that I think has a lot to do with the map. Bly kind of forced into a position where he can't end the game super early because he can't reinforce that much, despite his intention to end the game on that natural at that one point. And Clem is going to start playing a turtle game here, which a lot of Zergs will falter against. They'll overcommit, they'll not have enough of the right units, and they'll try and brute force it with Broodlord Infestor, or Broodlord Ultra rather, and Ghost Snipes will come down. Be pretty good.
Well, we are getting to the point of Ultras, and one thing we've questioned out of Clem that we haven't got to see was really, like, his control of things, right? So, like, a bit awkward with the Reapers always dying early on, and Stim sometimes makes you wonder what. This will be a good test of his ghosts, and more importantly, his late game to see whether he can actually contest what Bly's doing. I want to really stress, Clem's not doing so bad. He's 3-3s on the way, his army supply looks fantastic. Sure, he's a little bit behind on expanding, but the point is, at the end of the day, he's got the ghosts, the tools, and all the materials necessary to kill Bly.
Yep. Well, this ends up being a decent drop off to the right as he does distract on the left. A greater spire is already on the way though, and like that kind of sucks. You know, he denies the Ultra Cavern and the spire, the base spire. You would have hoped to have a long time to not worry about both techs coming at you.
Oh,
but
bottom left, bottom left.
yeah, it's a lot of roaches. His ghost count is growing, and he does have tanks. Unfortunately, not bringing them with him.
He tries to focus down the planetary, but between snipes and the SCV repairs, he realizes now like that was a mistake. For Bly, at a glance, you're like, what a waste of money, what a terrible attack. But really, that was meant to clean up supply while trading up for the planetary. And at least they cleaned up the supply. I mean, that gives them the money to, or not the money, excuse me, the space to make those corruptors, to get the broodlords afterwards.
Yeah, he did have to use the roaches in some fashion. It's unfortunate. Not able to pounce on the planetary quite fast enough. Now Liberator is set up and a tank is here, so Ling run-bys won't be very potent, and there's not going to be really any more Roach run-bys, too heavy in supply. That's 6 bases for Bly, although only on 49 drones. He realizes that too and starts building more. A lot of Broodlords, a lot of Ultras, a lot of Infestors is what I'm really scared for. And Clem has just got to have really, really great control, which we don't know if he has. His Reaper is, you know, one thing, but late game Ghost, Liberator, Tank, Bio control is more complicated. It's definitely different. Oh, ring around the rosy. Woo! He's gonna get that base. Oh, shit. Well, that was cute.
Clem's doing not bad at getting bases this game. I mean, it's the constellation he's getting anything done. Woo! But he's getting a lot of bases, which is nice. That's gonna be like, what, the third hash rate Bly's had to lose?
I think so. He does.
Well, it's worth noting, roaches are still in the bottom left. They're not really looking like they're planned to be used for much, but he may be able to just send them in once both players have forgotten about them after some time.
Yeah. Not as effective as Ling run-bys, really. But if they turn into Ravagers, they could rain down. Nope. And try and kill a couple of SCVs on the backside. Eventually dying, but maybe it'll draw Clem's army back. I mean, it draws 4 ghosts away from the main army, and that's a pretty big deal. Oh, he knows about the front. He does have a sensor tower. I like the sensor tower a lot. But he's going to need to EMP and then snipe, or just keep his ghost way back behind his army and get the snipes. He does try for the EMP. He doesn't really get it, though.
I mean, you want to remove those fungals from the equation. You have to. You can't use the ghosts, but the broodlords don't really seem to have an answer just yet. They do start moving in. It's a slow push as the broodlings are being dealt with pretty quickly, but spreads out. The ghost fungals hit everything nonetheless, so no snipes going to go off on that left side. Right side, a couple of snipes fly, but they hit the ultras. Now that those are going down, will the Ravagers fall? There's not much army left here for Clem, and there's a lot of broodlords still in the sky.
He has so many ghosts still with snipe, but they keep getting fungled. Oh, and Curse of Biles kill most of them. That's it.
Yeah, it's gonna be GG, but this is still the best game we've seen out of Clem so far.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that strategy here of the long con might not be so far-fetched.
Unfortunately, that was one of the only, like, standard bigger maps. You know, we still have so many from 4 years of smaller maps to be played out here. The next map's going to be Merry-Go-Round, in fact. So that's fun. That is the same map pool that's Catalino's in.
This might actually not be a bad map for Clem, and I say this because Bly has been really causing him trouble with Mutalisks, and the air blockers were one of the first things that made people go like, wait, what the fuck? Why did I go air on this map?
Yeah, that's true. It is unfortunately not just the mutas, though. Well, the mutas make the games that end with mutas look silly and like, oh my god, Bly's so much better. If he can't end it with mutas, he still has this huge roach reinforcement, which Merry-Go-Round back in the day, because you didn't want to go mutas, was the map to go for Roach Hydra. Composition not gone for anymore.
So, as a side note too, by the way, I kind of forgot to mention this. Not only will I maybe not be able to save for the whole cast day, because again, we didn't know it was going to be 31 games played out no matter what. But this is actually moving around pretty fast. I might actually be able to stick it out. But secondly, this will be my last cast for about a week. For those who don't know, I'll be going to PAX, and because I'm taking the train and it's not fast or efficient, I probably won't be back until the end of the first week of September. We do have things planned, though. Zombie Grub's going to be casting the map test tournament with Fear Dragon. There's maybe going to be a go for StarCraft with a question mark in there. Corsair Cups will resume, and Elima Leagues as per normal, but I'm not going to be here for the next few days. And I guess thanks for enjoying my company while I'm here. I don't know how to end that.
Oh, well, you certainly ended it awkwardly.
Is it information? I don't know. Cool. Rebecca Cherry on Twitter says, "Let me suck your dildo. Hashtag flirt. Winky face heart. Follow my top tweets."
Well, are you gonna follow her or not?
Yo, I saw Zombie about this the other day. There's like all these Twitter spam bots. Like everyone's seen them at this point. It's nothing new, but man, this one, like the girl that they used in the photo was just so goddamn beautiful. I wanted to message her and be like, "Look, I know you're fake, bro, but who is that you're using in your photo? Because she's a fucking goddess. Like I need to know."
And you never got a response.
I'm too chicken, man. I'm more nervous than asking a real girl out trying to find out the Twitter spam bot identity. But okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another game in his best of 31. Wouldn't you believe it? He's the one leading the series, albeit barely. It's gonna be the top right, the Red Zerg Bly. Is it like 9-1 now?
Yes, it is. In the bottom position as the blue Terran. I don't know where Protoss came from. As the blue Terran, he is Clem, and he's going for a bit of cheese.
Yeah.
That's right. Dig deep into the heart of the swarm builds.
Merry-go-round, you can do it in the middle of the map, so it'll be closer to every location. You gotta kind of guess because it's 3-player spawn, but like I said, this is a map where Bly is not going to probably comfortably use mutas the same way he has been thanks to those air blockers. And I'm wondering if he himself will be anticipating, not cheese, but just going for anything else. Earlier roaches, faster lings, you name it. So far, it's the greediest opening he could hope for. And this doesn't spell good things for Bly. But if Clem goes to the wrong base first, that might just be the time difference he needs to get those units out. It's still a 50-50 as Clem does not know where Bly spawned.
Yeah, he's going to send the SCP that finishes to the one area or another. It is a 4 racks with one of the barracks going on in the main base. It's a little awkward, but the problem with this is... Huh?
Maybe a 5th?
Oh, maybe a 5th.
Reaper?
Oh, no, there's no Reapers.
It's an Orbital.
So you really can't afford Reapers, especially when there's no gas.
That's true. So it's just Marines, no gases.
Yeah.
Hmm.
The problem with this is not just that it's like So the problem with this is just not that it's sometimes scouted. It's that even if it's not scouted, however many drones you have can a lot of times buy you enough time for the spawn pool to finish.
Way more workers now than you did in the past, and that's why these racks fell off without gas components to them. But just as a side note to that too, first off, apparently my Coke can's blocking my minimap, so I've now moved it. But secondly, regardless of that, you don't expect people to do builds like this because they are so ineffective. And Bly's got lings on the way.
Oh, Jesus.
Almost misses the Overlord. Oh, man, that was close.
He reacted instantly as soon as he saw a Marine, too.
Clem did win the coin flip, though. I want to point that out. He actually scouted the right way, so he knows where Bly is. There's not going to be an awkward going to the top left.
Ooh,
but
I like this.
Even waiting, these lings, it's not like you're looking for Marines in the smoke. You're going to see the barracks, or do they not?
No, they don't. They see what is an unhealthy amount of Marines, though. Oh, and the SCV's being pulled. Okay, that tells you everything, right? So Clem is going to go for it, and Bly has not realized this is the case. You know, if they try and put a bunker immediately with only like 2 Marines, 3 Marines, that's when the drones can get us around and stop the bunker from getting up. If they're going to bring 7, 8 Marines without you noticing, that's way different.
I mean, Clem getting a little bit down and dirty, but he kind of needs to in this series. The drones get pulled from the main. Bly's not messing around here. If that spine crawler completes, he'll be in an okay spot, even with drone losses, but this is pretty nasty. He's lost a lot of workers. He's going to lose a few more, and that spine crawler's still not done. Zombie, I think Clem's about to get another point on the board.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. The queens are going to go down here. A lot more lings are on the way. His larva finally popped another queen as well, but he's lost maybe enough drones. If Bly can clean this up, I'm actually not sure. But
I think 8 workers is too few to work off of.
I really don't know. I think because Clem can go for a second round, that's true. You know, he's the one that can consistently pump 4 Marines at a time with mules, even if he lost his own SCVs. It's also that Bly is, of course, on the side to give up, so it really is quite unfortunate that he didn't have that pop of larva 5 seconds sooner. Otherwise, I think his surround goes down on the Marines with the drones, and he does end up pushing this back. Alternatively, he could have pulled the drones away and given up the natural base and turned into another type of wonky game, but the way things have gone, I think Clem has got this. Unless Bly can get some amazing bailing hits.
That's a mighty big if.
Well, especially since he's got a Bailey Nest.
Yep.
You know? Yeah. 12 lings to 13 lings to 19 Marines. This is... Yeah, there's not enough minerals here.
So, this whole build, using it on this map, I mean, this is a big roll of the dice for Clem, and I'm glad to see him get a point on the board. It's just so unfortunate. This seems to be the only way he's able to do it. And I wonder if this will influence the follow games now, too. Like, oh, my proxy racks worked in one game. I'll try it for game 2 and 3 and 4 and so forth.
He might. Well, I shouldn't be very smart with his lings, taking out one Marine at a time. But unless he could afford a Bailey Nest or a Spine Crawler, it wouldn't matter. GG. Nicely done.
9-2.
Yay.
11 games in.
It's, I can still fit the numbers on the scoreboard.
I guess statistically, as a Grandmaster European Terran player, he will get games in this. There's no scenario where this should ever be such a flat-out blank to 0 type scenario. But it is alarming still that how troubled he's been getting those 2 games.
Mm-hmm. The next map is Deathwing, which I think was Deadwing.
I would love if there was like a World of Warcraft map in here that we didn't realize, because the lobby hosting here has been a little bit wonky, right? You end up hosting like Deathwing. It's just like the WoW cinematic, but it is gonna be Deadwing.
Okay, I was kind of worried that he would type Deathwing, you know. But...
and Clem says he needs 2 minutes, so do you want to just squeeze in a break? I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. See you guys in a few. There you go. We're going to Deadwing. Oh, that was perfectly timed. Wow. For all you know, that was intentional.
I've just seen the greatest burn I've ever seen on the internet.
I'm ready.
So, you know what the seed bank is, right?
Yes, I do know.
For the, I guess context here for everyone else. In Norway, there's a building, and it basically contains every seed in the world in case, like, I don't know, nuclear bombs go off or something. You can regrow shit, right? Like, it's a very important building. Anyway, someone's posting a picture of it on Imgur, and it says, and I quote, "It's the world's second biggest seed bank. Number 1 goes to my ex." I was like, wait a minute, what would number 1? Oh, that's so clever. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, with that terrible joke leading us into game number 12 on the top left side of Deadwing. He leads 9-2. It's going to be the red Zerg player, Bly.
In the bottom right, as the blue Terran, he is Clem.
All right, so this is unfortunately, we talked about like, oh, Clem gets a victory of Proxy Marines. Does he try and do it again? Deadwing it's not about the fact that it's a 4-player spawn map. It's just too big of a map, and I don't think he's willing to take that risk for a down and dirty victory. But it would have been cool to see him still go for it, I think, because at this point, it's very clear Clem's mid-game play is not going to keep up with Bly. No way, no how. But if early cheeses, or maybe super macro, because it almost looked okay with the ghost, right? So maybe just super turtle moding. I don't know what he needs to do, but he just can't seem to play the middle of the game versus Bly. It looks like it has to be either the start or the end.
Mm-hmm. I will throw out there that back in the day when this was in the map pool, especially once they got rid of horizontal spawns, because tank pushes through this area was very good.
Oh, yeah.
People did try and proxy rack on Zanagas. It was kind of funky and kind of funny.
I actually kind of forgot about those pushes, and I wonder how that would have translated here if Clem was thinking about it, but I personally love this map, because this was like the greatest meching map. You had a guaranteed 3 bases, a pretty easy to secure 4th that really didn't provide you any weakness, unlike the current map pool. There's no map currently in Legacy of the Void. You could make the maybe argument nucleactic process, but that's barely touching it when there's no map that secures you 4 bases like Deadwing used to.
Yeah. Oh, did he not know there's no horizontal spawn? Or maybe he's just not sure if that's stuck between the transfer. In
fairness, the maps have been so inconsistent today that there might not be any sort of like
any rules. Well, there is a
Yeah.
chance too that like between the turnover from Heart of the Storm to Legacy of the Void, they got rid of that little like check or whatever it is, right? That says no horizontal spawns. But I don't know. That was the agreed upon Deadwing thing, though. You know, whereas other maps in the past, like 2012, you would literally have tournament maps different from ladder maps, and different tournaments having different rules. Things got consistent later in StarCraft 2. But these Lings do find the SCVs. It does not find them in time to halt to the command center, which is what the ideal situation is going to be. So I like that he used the little, you know,
The
load
lift
up
command.
Too.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh.
Alright, so Marines look like they will clean up the Lings. Nice stutter stepping out of Clem.
Yep, there you go. Reaper does not die because there's no Lings here. Gotta be careful.
Yeah, there's not 6 slow Lings this round.
Yeah. So he does, by staying out here, not only easily, you know, remember his Reaper and go into the main base, it's also scouting the third. So the lack of a third should tell him what he needs to know, and he should try and reach for the main because there is a ledge. There you go, ledge right here. But he might not. He might assume that it's 2-base Spire, which it is. Deadwing is a very easy 4-base map, as we were talking about. Certainly, you know, Gumio abused this for his mech builds, and this was his map for a long time. Also good for Protoss because it was easy 4th. It's not a terribly large map like Ultrazeme. It is some significant distance when it comes to cross-spawn from here to here. So Bly could take a lot of control over this game, again, like on Antigua, I would say. With the mutas flying around, the creep spread going far, and then transferring over into roaches. Clem won't be able to do much in the mid-game. And as you were talking about, hasn't been looking very powerful in the mid-game anyway, so... Clem, you know, he originally went for those Widow Mines. I thought they were a decent start off, you know, better than growing the tank count, which he made up for later anyway by going for double factory, but this game is going to start off with tanks after the double medevac drop. And that's just, I don't know, like, he's got to be very careful, basically, because the mutas are the first thing he has to deal with, which he's not been doing in the past. And if he can't deal with the mutas, then it doesn't matter how high his tank count is for the roaches after, because he's just going to be overwhelmed.
Oh, here comes 2 medevacs.
Yeah.
Slowly down the bayou.
Slowly. Reaper does die. Oh, gets a nice grenade, though.
I love that the grenade kind of just like forces you to dance. Like, the scatter always looks silly to watch, but unloads the Marines, and I guess is contemplating just walking up the front door. He has been so badly shut down by mutas in the past, perhaps not willing to take that risk.
Yeah.
But decides to go up instead.
I really think he can just stay on the edge of creep, one scan, clean it up, maybe get the queen and back off. And by then, if Bly chases with Lings and mutas, he's probably going to lose too much. That's an even trade. The engagements we've seen so far have just been like, he's either surprised by the mutas and Lings, or he's on creep and pushing in way too far. So, I like that he pulls back rather than committing 100%, but I think there is a middle ground, so that his build doesn't have to feel entirely useless against Bly's build. Which I get the feeling he might feel right now. Like, oh, well, I tried to do something different and he went for mutas again, so I guess I just have to stay home and defend. When really, especially if you're pretty damn bold and you think you have this on lockdown, you can technically try and get a... Oh, no. You can technically try and get a medevac drop off to the left because you know where the mutas are, but... How did the Lings just got in because the supply depot was down? That wasn't
Yep.
That was it. Oh,
I mean, the backside you can see it's still open.
yeah. There's no reason for that.
I'll go for snipes on the engineering base. Actually, this is a bit of a problem we discussed many times, where if you do put them out in your front wall, they're a bit more exposed. Lings and whatnot can take this out too. But if I swim over to roaches, we could probably see ravages. We're probably going to see fungal growths, everything you would expect to see out of a player. And maybe Bly, during that extended break we had intentions of playing the game in a more fun way and convincing people like, it's worth donating to like this crazy cool show match. He's actually being forced to play sort of standard.
Yeah, he is. Well, standard for him, I suppose. No one else really
actually,
goes
I guess
for
it would be
two-base
weird
muta.
for him, standard for everyone else.
Well, no one goes 2-base muta.
Okay, that's true. I was talking more about this roach transition and possible
Yeah.
Ravager, fungals, all that stuff.
I am interested in why Bly is sticking so hard to the the Roach transition. It might be because it's working. You know, don't fix what's not broken and whatnot. But Bly was one of the, not just the first, but like, he didn't give up on Mutilating Bling when everyone else did. And he does still use it, now that everyone else is back to using Mutilating Bling. So I just wonder why he's not showcasing any of that, like on Apotheosis or on Deadwing. Just like his roaches today. Upgrades are done for Clem, but the army's a little bit late. Should still have an upgrade lead, even with his Contaminate, which is cool to see. Clem is pushing out, and ooh, awkwardly catches some roaches. The medevacs aren't around, which makes it awkward for both sides. Give a tank! Ah, Jesus. He was dealing with the mutas back at home, I think. Or something.
Yeah.
Dealing with the mutas back at home or something.
Yeah, the turret was like, I think it was hoping would keep him alive, but as the Liberators come in, they might actually have Bly, because Bly's the one now not paying so much attention, but he does decide to micro the mutas at the last moment, takes a fight in the middle of the map with the roaches on top of that tank. They're all fighting on top of creep, but Bly's the one who's forced to back away. But with 22 more roaches on the way, I don't think he's sweating it just yet. Yeah. Upgrades definitely favoring Clem for the small time being, but
oh, no, he didn't start to
that last.
Oh, he went for the second factory first. He could have had an upgrade lead by like 30 seconds, so now it's going to be all evened up. His push is pushed back. The mutas were able to... Well, they died. They still cleaned up a lot of Marines and Liberators, so I think it was worth. And he does not have a wall set up either, so Bly could try and end the game here. I don't think he has quite enough to do that. He doesn't have to either with Hive on the way, but maybe. He's going to look for numbers. There's no medevacs here, which is, I think, the biggest problem.
Getting that tank was pretty big. The Liberator's going to siege up, and this might just keep Bly back from the natural, but even shutting down this other factory, trying to pick off the tank, shutting down the mineral lines right here. The command center is actually needing to be lifted. It was so close to dying. I mean, there's no Ravagers. This is all just roaches. This is about as brute force and basic as it gets. This is Bly with a pumpkin spice latte on the front lines.
Yeah. If he had Ravagers, this game would be over, I'm pretty sure.
No cancel. That's a lot of gas gone.
Yeah, because he would have been able to get the command center and the Liberators already. Wow. Awkward, but a creep straight in the middle of the map helps boost him along. Neural Parasite once again. He really wants to neural something. Unable to use it in that last game.
If I had to use a crazy guess with clearly no information, maybe it would be an SCV, but I don't know. It's
so hard to neural parasite in a CD though, because you have to keep
so you have to actually spend like 10 neurals to build a command center.
Yeah. But technically, you can get all the races under your control. Now, is it like Brood War? Will it gives you 200 more supply?
No.
It's not?
I've done this. You don't get an extra amount of supply. It just contributes to the current supply.
That's funny. At least I think that's what it was in Brood War. That used to be the only thing I used to do in
yeah, actually, I
remember
Brood War, I think?
My
favorite thing was like the team melee where you could start with a probe, a drone, and a Terran thing.
Oh my god, yeah, that was so weird. But no, it must have been on PC because there's Dark Archons, that's right. But you just go on the map that had no... it wasn't the island map, but it was a map where there's no way to get to your opponent's base. It had like a little ravine in the middle. And I would just get to a shuttle and drop Dark Archon,
those are just
mind
like
control,
fastest
and...
map possible type combinations of maps, like...
Nah, it was only a 2-player map. It wasn't like very big or anything. And I think it was only available in like the base maps that they gave you.
Well, regardless of what's going on with that tag, we do have Ultra's got Corruptors coming out. I will say this, guys, I would actually be super happy to see him do a Neural Parasite. It's it's something that will take quite the touch to do, right? You got to consider that this is not some game where he's rushing and cheesing. We'll talk about in a second. Big fight comes down, takes out the Liberators pretty darn quick. But he is going to get pushed back, unfortunately.
Well, he's investing so much into everything not quite prepared yet that it makes sense he didn't have a true finishing force. But he was hoping to catch Clem with a massive fungal, and he almost did. He just was late in the Corrosive Vials. And
well, so the point I was going to make, though, is like, let's hypothetically say he's aiming to get an SCV, right, and get all the races up, whatever. The problem I see is, like, either Clem, he gets killed too hard and just leaves the game. Or alternatively, Bly doesn't actually handle it well enough, dedicates too much to go in that direction, and himself gets killed in the process of trying to do something silly. Like, it's actually going to take an extreme amount of finesse to pull off getting an SCV. So, while I'm not entirely convinced he'll be able to, it's certainly cool to see him try for it, because that will speak to, like, what he's able to do in terms of like, holding back, but also killing enough that he can get away with it.
I would go for Neuroparasite with this ledge here, bring an Overlord drop, and then like.
I don't think you can put. I don't think you put units inside Overlords if they're narrowed.
Damn.
Otherwise, you
should.
Anyways, Fungal Growth's gonna crush a good chunk of the army. He takes a decent fight for this too, and the medevac's also going down, so no escape for those tanks. Corruptors might get cleaned up by the Marines though, so rather than giving chase, he backs away. Kindness plating more Infestors and Ultralisks coming out next, and again, the silly factor aside, Fungal Growths are gonna be everything going forward in this game, whether it's catching units or just stopping snipes. They're important units to pair up with the Ultralisks.
Yep. 5 bases, by the way, and 84 drones. So Bly's been, he's been good on the income for quite some time. In fact, almost tripling Clem's. Oh, no. Oh, no, that's going down. That's dead. Boom. Is that his main? Yeah. That was quick.
So, just gotta give a small shout out to CK Welsh in chat, by the way. This guy should be meeting up with tomorrow for, hanging out for PAX stuff.
No! Okay, still.
Well, still, no!
Yeah, it's gonna get, oh jeez, oh no, oh jeez, oh no.
That's gonna crush the army. Now, there is a little bit at home and a small rally, but as we saw, Bly just came in with very few units and killed the big part. Those few units are probably not gonna have too much trouble with what's left. And the fact is, Clem's still not a +3 weapon, so this Marine Marauder combo, while in some rare instances can take on Ultras, may not be able to do that here.
And get a meat brawl for the 9-month resub. I'm surprised Bly pulled back. I guess he saw the scan and was like, oh, you're gonna go for a drop? Which, yeah, he is, but only after he scanned. Still could have ended the game. Corruptor's looking for more things to piss on. There you go. I don't think he should be able to kill this. Yeah, Clem notices. But he does have to pull the command center away, like cancel and move. Or there's not enough Corruptors. Usually if there's like 10 Corruptors and you don't move the command center but you mass repair, you're still going to get out damage there. But with only 5, it wasn't as bad, not on a 4. This is what I expect to do.
Is there a Popeye's chicken anywhere nearby?
It's America, so probably.
I hope so. I actually forgot about Popeye's chicken for like, I guess that's how I had to cope with not having it, so then I could deal with it, was like to forget about it. But oh my god. He says, not that I know of. No! Seattle! Why you know Popeye's chicken?
People don't check for Popeye's chicken around them. Just use Google Maps.
I know I'm like the only person who's obsessed with Popeye's chicken like this, but man, I really like Popeye's chicken. It's pretty good.
Put it in Google Maps.
I'll, you know what? I'll do it right now because this doesn't seem to have a lot going on.
No, Medevac was trying to somehow dodge and weave. That wasn't gonna work. Clem just needs to buy time. Technically, he could remax with an army. He's got a decent income again, but he needs 70, 80 more supply. And better supply too. Doesn't have any ghosts, just a couple liberators. Bly could end this game, but if he wants to get a narrow parasite on SCV, then he's gotta wait.
Wait, Popeye's Louisiana chicken? Is that the same thing?
Yes.
Oh, there's totally Popeyes within driving distance.
The world is your oyster. Or your fried chicken.
Fuck oysters, I want chicken. Alright, Bly actually gets kind of hurt by the Liberators, gotta say, but as we can see, not too much worse for wear. He's actually trying to zone out with the Ultras on that left side. They're getting kited down. The Planetary is actually not going down, and this isn't going so hot for him. These Infestors have got a couple of Fungals, though they gotta use them on the backside, keep those Marines off their butts.
Booty, 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 booty.
The Ultras go down. I gotta say, sound cleanup from Clem, but look at the top right, look at the middle left. Bly's got faces for days. GG.
GG. No! Now Bly's up 10. Damn it! What am I gonna do? What a conundrum. Oh boy. 13 games in almost. What is the next map? Guangali. Oh, Guangali Beach. This was a GSL map. It wasn't even in the ladder map pool, so I don't know if it's gonna be available.
Oh, that'll be interesting.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't in the ladder. Gwengali. I don't see it. Oh, there's a map made though. Let's see what title it has. Official OGN? That sounds right.
Actually, it's 12 games. This is a break, right?
Well, we had a break last time, so I don't know. They should tell us in the lobby. Baby Bell cheeses are delicious.
Is this break?
They got fun little plastic wrappers.
What
or wax
is?
wrappers?
Oh, the Baby Bell cheese?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're delicious. But okay, break time!
Break. Whee. Welcome back. Pretty perfectly timed. Clem's almost ready to go. Just needs to stay ready.
What's the score right now?
10-3. Should read the update.
13 games in. The backwards of... There's a better word for that, I can't remember. Palindrome of 31.
Sure. Yeah. Well, now Clem is finding water.
So while we are waiting, just a reminder that there's actually a match arena page for this one going on. So if you haven't seen on Team Liquid, the link can be found over there in the Underdog Show Match page. Currently they are at $362 raised. That's pretty good. It's not bad. Show match is being divvied up based on wins in the show match. So the more one player wins, the more money they'll get. That's why they're playing all 31 games out. As we said, though, we're just going to cast to the winner and take a break because we're setting up our own match arena page for another thing right now. I mentioned a list of potential players before, but actually during the break I was given the confirmed list of Lambo, Alazer, Hearthstone, Major, Xenocider, True, Mini Razor, The Muslim, Euthermal, and Marine Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to basically be doing like a team league type thing. So 5 people, each team. I don't know if it's best of 3s for the 1v1s or just one best of 1s, but the thing I'm most interested in is most of them want to actually join us on Skype and smack talk each other, and I love that idea because we don't get enough of that in StarCraft 2. It's too much boring, bland, I wish you the best of luck, let's show good games. Fuck that.
Sure.
So we could have some fun. Anyways, we're hopping into another game. It's map 14 out of 31. In the bottom middle side of Metalopolis, it is going to be the red Zerg player, Bly.
And its opposition as the blue Terran, he is Dead Pixel's Clem. Alright, so they got the cross spawn here, and I don't know what version this is, if it's forced cross spawn like it was, I think, in the very last month or so of the map, or if this is just coincidence. It's the fairest of all the ways to spawn, but it's still a small map overall.
I feel like we know most of the maps that have rules to them, because the rules didn't actually start coming into play for quite some time. But for me in Metalopolis, I'm just gonna be like, this is too old. I'm just like, I'm not even gonna try and guess at it.
No, it had a rule at the end. Across all.
Yeah, but this was like one of the first maps, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was like, at first, tournaments would get rid of the horizontal for like Bly, or then they got rid of the vertical because mutas were taking a problem. But I'm pretty sure towards the end, everyone agreed that cross spawn only was the way to go. Could be wrong. It was seriously 2010, might have bled into 2011 a little bit, but it was a while ago. So it's just a thing that I don't know. A lot of the games also ended up going because there's a more cross spawn to the gold bases, which was always interesting. You did get Broodlord Infestor on this map, but not in the same way that you did when Broodlord Infestor was the thing to do. It was just more like it is now, where eventually you'd get to Hive and you'd get to the greater tech. So you'd see some wars of, like, you know, broodlings here and what back in the day. Yeah, I don't even know what to harass this base for the goal for the Zerg player. It's just Vikings tangoing with broodlords over the middle of the map. It could get some interesting games. This is also the infamous map for Loose, I'm pretty sure. Where it's tacking into this base. And he's doing a bunch of stuff, and Idra just tapped out. I think it was. It's a brief history of the map.
I've also been reading up on that new co-op map while this goes on. For those who don't see, it was announced. Missed opportunities and the details around it for co-op have been put out there. And I'm really excited to see what insane, terrazined out, super vape niche Egon Stepman's gonna look like.
Well, his portrait looks really cool.
Yeah, well, apparently he sounds crazy from what this thing describes.
Yeah, I can kind of remember his voice. I don't know what that's gonna sound like crazy. Cool lore map, whatever. You have a 2-base layer versus what is the... Okay, the 2-Rax 111 again. Seems that he's done with his tank pushes for now.
That kind of makes me happy, to be completely honest with you. Because they were not working.
No, they weren't. The one complicated issue about Metalopolis, besides the spawns, potential spawns, which we didn't even get, is that you can't really wall off your natural for any race, you know, not just Terran problem. Zergs couldn't wall off against Hellion run-bys, Protoss couldn't wall off. Well, they kind of could, they did a diagonal wall off back in the day, but it was still very difficult. So the best thing a Terran can do is, yeah, build a bunker next to your command center and just try and hold out there, which is not terrible. But when you consider how often Bly has been getting really good Ling run-bys in, it is scary. You can literally just hide 20 Lings over here, and without Hellions, which were a given back in Wings of Liberty, are not anymore, you're very unlikely to find them and kill them. You're too focused on doing the drop, for instance, or doing the tank push, or defending against mutas, you know, what have you. And in fact, Clem not going for a bunker at all makes me very worried that he could just let Muta-Ling combinations roll over his army. He will not have a wall to fall back to, although he could have had a diagonal wall. Well, these Lings are still slow. Bly really is going for some of the fastest mutas you can get, because 1-base muta just isn't going to be a thing. So this is basically the fastest mutas possible. And that's why they keep on coming out so much earlier than Clem's able to drop his medevacs, or just as he's able to drop his medevacs. Well, only 5 mutas, you don't have a lot of money to work with, but they'll grow, you know, and he'll keep them pinned back in his bases like he's been doing, and I am seriously worried that Clem will just get overwhelmed. He's barely been able to keep it hanging on with a wall, so what is he going to do without one? He is going for a double engineering bay in the 3rd CC behind this too.
Yo, I'm also surprised, maybe not so much for Clem, we didn't see Bly take advantage of that gold base really quick. And I know it's more exposed and it's more dangerous, but he's got control of the watchtowers. He's had control of maps, generally speaking. This just seems like that would have been the sweet base for him to have taken instead of that bottom right.
He should take it as his 4th. I would say guaranteed. Unless he really screws up his muta control and loses control over the game. Missile turrets are already up. And unfortunately, Bly runs into 2 of them, so loses a muta right off the bat. Not what you wanted. He's gonna lose 3? Or 2? I can count. Not quite. But, you know, 1 gone from a group of very small mutas is important. And Bly is still trying to get more mutas, like he's giving up on them. In fact, he's going into banelings, not roaches, so he's really going to take advantage of the fact that Clem doesn't have a wall off. It's not only going to just be, you know, I hope I can get us around on the Marines when they move forward a little bit. It's going to be just like, I hope you're clumped up, thinking you're safe against Ling surrounds, because I'm going to roll in with banelings. And that's pretty scary. Bly does go for a macro hatchery, so maybe not as all-in as it could be, but keep in mind that he's disregarding ground upgrades to do this. Whereas Clem, well, Clem does have 2 engineering bays and should be using them soon. He just had to afford Liberators first, which put, I think, a bit of a dent in his plan. I really like, by the way, that he did not even try going for the medevac drop. Again, there's something to be said about just dropping, clearing up creep, and immediately leaving, but with how fast Bly really is getting these mutas, it's the safer way to play, to just bulk up and push with a solid push. But I think he's hoping to catch Bly before he roach transitions, or before the roach number is too high. But unfortunately, what he's going to be doing here is going on a creep against banelings. And you can snipe 6 banelings, I'll give you that much. You can't really snipe 12.
These Ling run by is also not accomplishing too much compared to some of the previous games too, where Bly was really getting into that worker line and hitting Clem hard.
Oh, I need to pick up. Oh, God.
Yeah, the more we joked about it, the more I actually wasn't believing it could happen. But there might actually just simply be an endurance thing where Clem is, I don't know, wearing Bly down in terms of these attacks at least. I don't think he's getting worn down in terms of like winning or playing, but like,
Oh, jeez.
again, little attacks aren't working the way they were early on.
The Liberator actually ends up getting 2 mutas at the last shot there, but it ends up dying. Yeah. The medevac gets away, which is more important. It holds all those Marines. The Liberators, I think they're willing to die for their country right there. It was going to try and save them.
They do represent freedom after all.
Clearly, yeah. 1-1 is not quite almost done for Clem, but it is far ahead of Bly. As I said, I really thought Bly was going to go for a more aggressive maneuver.
I love what he can do with just a small amount of mutas. I mean, the reaction it forces out of Clem as he wraps on the left side, if Bly can bait him up that ramp one more time, then those banelings that are set up there in the top left are going to roll into that mineral line and annihilate SCVs.
You could just wait for... Oh, yeah.
You could just kill the army probably with what he's got. That wrapper is going to be off of creep, but...
Jeez, oh, that was so scary. The banelings roll in right there and you can't pick up.
Yeah, and I don't think... Unfortunately, Bly didn't know that. But also, fortunately for Clem, he doesn't know how dangerous that was. It's like not knowing the monster was under your bed the whole time.
Yeah. Bly gets a tank for these mutas, by the way, and he is still getting more mutas. I think, again, I said he should have taken this as his 4th. He ends up double expanding, basically, so, you know, basically gets it as expected. I was going to say if he doesn't, it might have been because he lost so many mutas already. You know, he didn't quite snowball like he's been doing in past games. But he's really wanting to bait Clem into just chasing mutas in a clump so he can get to the banelings. The banelings will go up the ramp first. He's looking for it. He's looking for it. Clem doesn't see the banelings. There we go. Surprise, sucker.
The area is not that great for them to hit on much, though. They're going to get stuck in that mineral line. The tanks come out, start blasting away. The Bermuda's going to force that fight, but never mind what I said about the tanks. The Bailey still managed to roll right past them and onto most of the Marines. The tanks will get killed off by the Bermudas. The medevacs will also go down eventually as well, but pushing back and pulling back to the command center. There's no SCVs nearby to repair it. That might just die if you wanted to focus on it. Bermudas can get a couple more shots in, but I don't think that's going to be the end of the command center's life just yet.
It was close. He had 6 more mutas. I think it does die. Which he's getting now. A little late, though. Nothing else going on, and that was still a very good army trade, even though Bly was unable to win the game. He got a lot of tanks. He got most of the army. I think Clem really was anticipating for the first, like, 6 minutes of the game, roaches. So he's had to kind of change his mind here, and he's not going into widow mines, for instance. And now I ain't got any more marauders. Nothing really happened on this side of the map except Bly getting his 2 drones and could transfer the gold base. Things are looking good for Bly. Upgrades have caught up a little bit, but still Clem vastly in the lead here.
I mean, his expansion game has been on point, too. Talking about the types you could take, I guess, but... Sitting on 4 comfortably.
He's being rallied in here is a little unfortunate. So he's still at 15, which is like an okay amount. It's not super scary. Clem does not know about the banelings morphing on the very bottom of his ramp, which is always kind of funny. He has a suspicion about the gold base, and he does scan it. So he could try and send a dropout eventually once he knows where the mutas are, but they're coming to the middle now, realizing that Clem's defense might be all around that 3rd base. It wasn't. There was a couple of widow mines, and they got damn good shots.
Yeah, the muta's really low, actually. He's got to back away or he's going to bleed those out to the Marines.
Yeah.
I mean, regen hasn't kicked in just yet. There's even a turret. Run, Bly, run!
A little bit scary.
Bly actually dips the supply from this attack, by the way. A fair bit, no less.
Yeah, well, the widow mines,
hit.
They didn't just hit those mutas to weaken them. They killed, like, all of the lings that got surround. So Bly might have made a mistake there. Now, he does have 5 bases to fall back on. So all he needs is time here, and he has a lot of creep spread. He was doing quite good creep spread, in fact, to fall back on. So at worst, he loses a gold base, then transfers drones to here. I think he might lose both bases too, though, as Clem gets a decent army size.
I really wish we had income graphs to look at whether Bly's economic damage has been that good or not, especially around that 3rd base. But anyways, the goal in the middle of the map looking like it's going to go down. He doesn't quite have the numbers to do a full surround and dive in, because he especially doesn't know what the widow mine situation looks like. Bleeding out another Mutalisk also around that watchtower. I mean, Bly's had money, but for what is like the first time in a while, he's got nothing in the bank.
Yeah, he's losing and the unit's resources lost, so for whatever more money he had, he's been throwing it away. 2-2 is about to finish. He brought up the Widow Mines and his inability to know like exactly what the situation is with that. A lot of that has to do with the fact he doesn't have an Overseer. Even if he did, he never got Overlord speed.
Ooh. Even with that Widowmine getting an amazing hit, he can't save those SCVs. That's unfortunate for Clem. Down to 28 workers. I gotta say, like, just talking about Bly's money moments ago, Clem's not gonna be able to rebuild much of what he loses at this rate either.
Yeah, so many Widow Mines. But they're all on the backside, so this might be a case where if he had all of his army at the front, he could roll in. It still would be complicated, though. He wants this around. Gonna roll in with the Banelings here. He has Banelings from the back, not going in, and Clem is just barely surviving. Losing more SCVs, though, not mining on his third base. Oh, that was a good hit for the Banelings. Yeah.
What am I still up, though? The Muta's gotta watch out for that. Pop, pop, baby. It's gonna go badly. Goes off of the Lings instead, and thank goodness for Bly that that's gonna be the case. Now gonna be chased. The Mutalisk can chase down those medevacs. Not enough range.
Oh!
One more Widow Mines. Where did those come from? Bly loses all his Mutas. 3 barely survive, and 30 Lings are on the way.
Oh my god, 30 Lings should be able to take care of this. There's actually a surprising amount of Marauders in here, so they get surrounded on Marauders. They get on pretty easily. Still so many Widow Mines, though, because there's no Overseer. Regardless of if it's with the Mutas to snipe the Widow Mines, there should be some hanging back with the Lings and Banelings, so you don't let them have repeat Widow Mines.
Like, I'm wondering if those Widow Mine hits just now were enough to win Clem this game. Those Mutas were huge for Bly.
They might have been. I mean, he's sending them back down to 3 bases, but really only 1.5.
Yeah, it's bad news bears what it is. I mean, Clem, again, he doesn't exactly have a ton of money either, but what he has right now might just be better than what Bly's got. The Widow Mines are coming up, those are the Banelings.
Oh, good.
But they still, oh, yo, they saved the Mutas. Those Banelings just saved the Mutas.
I was gonna say he should use the Banelings on those clumped up Widow Mines. The Mutas are gonna be better against what is again a surprising amount of Marauders.
Yeah. Okay, Bly, I think he's recovered. I think he's got it. Oh, that was so
very
scary.
close.
Those were 4 Widow Mines. That's enough to one-shot Mutas. If they all go off, the splash damage compiles, and all the Mutas die.
Yeah.
That was some very clutch. Like, what? Keep in mind, like, of those millisecond difference in firing timings, 1 Widow Mine went off. Like, a millisecond later, 2 or 3 could have gone off if the Banelings didn't hit right when they did. That was incredible timing for Bly.
Yeah, and imagine if he had actually had all of his Widow Mines. He had some back here. He had some still left over here that got another shot. Come over here.
Ouch. I mean, it's not easy to clean up, but it's costly as Bly tries to set up an attack in the north. If he can get those Banelings in, that's the only base mining from Clem. In fact, he's going to send them all in. That Widow Mine, not going to be enough to save the day, I don't think. And all of Clem's remaining income drops to a dead stop. One SCV escapes. Oh.
You're the lucky one. The SCV that lived.
Are you the lucky one? I think at this point you have survivor's guilt.
Some pretty extreme survivor's guilt. Yeah, that's true. Well, Clem still has an army, and he still has an upgrade lead. If he gets a couple of good Widow Mine shots again, things could still be dicey for Bly, who couldn't exactly afford to run away with his own army supply. He was trying to get a 4th base back up. So 50 to 42. Clem needs to have some, like, seriously good engagements, though. That means, like, not clumping up your Widow Mines, not losing them like that to a snipe. Thank God Bly finally got an Overseer. Pretty good, pretty good. There's, what, 6 more Banelings? Oh, more coming from the side as well. I think this is enough Banelings?
The Widow Mines are still going to be a problem.
Oh, actually, those splits end up being really good.
The Widow Mines.
Oh, jeez.
He's still low. Those wouldn't kill all the Mutas, but those would kill over half of them. So as he heals up the Mutalisks, it will trump the healing from 1 single out-of-energy medevac.
Yeah. All I need is 1 good Baneling hit, or alternatively, like a decent number of Lings, combined with the Glaive Worm, and I'm pretty sure he has this army. The Widow Mines are scary.
Clem really wants this base.
Yeah.
He's televisioning hard in the top left. They have yet another attack set up for that command center.
Oh, I killed the
looks like that's going to be it. The end of Clem's army. GG. Bly takes another game in this series.
Yes, bringing it up to 11 to 3.
Oh boy, only 11 to 3.
Yeah, well, at least they're better games. Clem is not just rolling over the Mutas here.
Yes, that was actually a pretty fun game, I will say. Mistakes made certainly on both sides, but just well played generally. And this is the type of game I wish we would have started off on, because then I wouldn't have such a Debbie Downer attitude towards Clem.
Yeah. Ah, well. So the next map is Ohana. Ohana means...
that we're going to map 15.
It also means...
that it's been out of the map pool for a while, and we're seeing it for the first time in a long time.
It means butts. That's what it means.
Ask me one more time.
What is it? What does Ohana mean?
Familiar maps that we haven't seen in a while.
Clever. Very clever. Ah.
Don't mind me, I'm just a level 10 wordsmith.
Ooh, boy. Invite? Invite? No? Gotta join? Fine, whatever.
An interesting tweet. What is Sidestorm Gaming's manager, True, Apollo, Wax, Angel, and Hotbit all doing in a call together?
Oh. That sounds like a beginning of a joke.
I know. No, the manager just tweeted a picture. I wonder if they're talking about WCS or something, maybe?
You got me.
I mean, if it's Wax, Angel, and Hotbit, you're kind of like, well, that's an interview,
Oh.
right? Like,
Oh, well, yeah, there's that. So we're getting into the game, but did you see all the things about Wolf's tweet?
oh, the Kespa Cup thing?
Yeah. So...
I don't know. I didn't click or care. What happened?
I don't
Yeah,
wanna
this is
Game paused.
LOL.
Oh. Oh!
WCS Ohana LE GSL. Fucking map hosting.
Oh, God. Nothing about it. People are just saying that it's a Kespa Cup rumor and whatnot, and how, you know, Blizzard would want to have a global events before everything is said and done. I don't know, man. I don't know. I would love for there to be an event in October, but...
Well, so I'm looking at that tweet, and it's like, again, it's because Apollo's there. Throws me off of, like, that wouldn't be an interview. Because what does Apollo have to do with Sidestorm Gaming or anything, right?
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that, maybe they are talking about something like that. That'd be really interesting if those were two different combined rumors.
Mm-hmm. Well, like, you know, 3, because there's the rumor that there was going to be another event. And they would make it global.
Well, cards on the table, guys. Even at Blizzard Summit, we've heard nothing about this, so we don't know.
Yeah.
This is guesswork for us too.
They'd really be trying to squeeze it in.
They doing Copa Mexico.
Yeah, they did. So, anyway. ESL Ohana. Do you want to bet if Blizzard Maps has Ohana?
I would say that it probably does.
You'd be right, it does! It has the official Blizz thing, too. Oh well.
Why aren't we just using the official Blizz versions of any of these maps?
I got sushi on the brain since that saw a tweet with sushi. Damn it. Oh boy, okay. Well, no. Oh.
Oh, cool. It's Nerchio on TvZ and Hyun from Quantic Gaming coming at you. Apparently, we have, in fact, traveled back in time to 2012. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back where poor Bly is still living under Nerchio's shadow.
Oh, so great. So good. Alright, in the bottom right on Ohana is the blue Zerg Bly.
His opponent in the upper left, this time he doesn't spawn with 24 High Templar full energy ready to storm. It's gonna be the Red Terran Clem.
Bly spawned with the same thing, didn't he?
He did, and I'm wondering what the point of that was too, because like the Templar can't attack the buildings, so do you just like storm each other's workers and like, haha, neither of us can build anything, see you never, as we stalemate out of the game? Like, I don't know what the point of that was.
Who knows? Regardless of that, Ohana was most infamous for not just Brood Infestor, because it was around that time as well, but more for the 1-1-1 from the Terran versus Protoss. It's not a TVP, so you don't have to worry about that, since that has kind of come full circle and come back around, of course, you know, like on the likes of Frozen Temple and whatnot. For Zerg, it really was just like Brood Infestor and having to deal with it, so I'm so used to being Terran on the bottom, I have no idea why I'd be used to that, but there's this...
You're used to the bottom?
Yeah.
You're fucking lazy.
So the way that this map usually played out back in the day is that you would have to be very keen on scouting if it was a Mutiling Bling all-in with 2-2, or if it was straight to Broodlord Infestor. And if you made the mistake of thinking it was the wrong one, you actually just died. So you would push out trying to catch them before Broodlord Infestor, they'd overwhelm you with more creep spread, or you would think it was Mutiling Bling and stay really passive and defensive, and then they would get to Broodlord Infestor. So it ended up being a very difficult map, because at the time it was also one of the longer maps. Like, this was the apotheosis, right, of the ladder map pool, which I always get a tongue twister with. You also had a complication for Zerg, I guess, where these rocks being broken down was a pain. That shouldn't be the case in Legacy of the Void, since 3 base, 4 base is usually a given, although not in these games. Blah, the 2 base lair, am I right? So he will need to break those down. I just can't see Clem abusing that in any fashion, to be honest. It was more abusable for Protoss with their Immortal Sentry all-in. It was so abusable. God. I think I was maybe playing this map as Zerg a couple of times. I don't know if it's before I switched, or I was just looking to get the Zerg's point of view and was testing it out while I was Terran. But I remember so many games dying to Immortal Sentry all-in. I actually had a guy that told me he was going to do the exact Immortal Sentry build that he was going to do. Like, he even gave me, like, the timings and whatnot.
Oh, he's just a dick about it.
Yeah, and I still lost to it. And granted, I wasn't a very good Zerg, but at the time, that was actually what would happen. Parting could literally tell you he was going to do it, and you wouldn't be able to defend against it as a pro. So, I remember, actually, because this is just nostalgia times, watch the Reaper run around, that Suppy first got on my radar, and I think a lot of people's radar, because he used the mass Spinecrawler defense against Immortal Sentry all-in, and the Protosses initially were so confused by it that they would lose.
Him and Snoot, you would see like go for 9 Spinecrawlers deep, and it would work, and it was kind of like, oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, Protosses ended up adapting so that it wasn't the catch-all defense anymore, but...
One of the ones I really liked was, I can't remember which map it was or who he was playing against, but one of the times Snoot did that, he did his 9 Spinecrawler defense in like a 3x3 diamond shape. Like, it was perfect, like, perfectly built. It was glorious to look at. Anyways, I guess if we really did go back in time, steal the joke from chat, I don't know if Clem would be old enough to play StarCraft.
He wouldn't be 13? I guess.
Well, I mean, like, at 10, are your arms long enough to reach the keyboard?
Oh.
I don't know. Like,
I think they are. Certainly, I was playing PC games when I was 10, right? But I thought you meant, like, because it's rated teen or whatever.
Oh,
does he have adult supervision?
Would he legally be able to play StarCraft? That's the better
He's
question.
only legally been able to play without adult supervision for a year, so... Oh, this poor guy.
Alright, Spire starts up for Bly. It's already finishing up. That starts up, excuse me, as we did look at that earlier. So we'll see those mutas come out. And credit where it's due. The mutas have been doing a great job dancing on the map. We've also seen them kind of, whether it was selectively or forced to be, move away from that neural parasite deck he's been going for. I think at this point he's recognized that he can't dick around with Clem. Like, Clem is as one-sided as a lot of these games have been, and while it doesn't look good, when Bly doesn't actually try, he actually finds himself in trouble. So he can't exactly just leisure his way through this best of 31.
Yeah, that's true. That's been proven. I do have a lot of creep spread. I didn't notice, I don't know if he's been doing it every single game or just thought about it now, but Bly started creep spreading with the Overlord to get the creep tumors a little bit faster. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
There is a lot of Space 2 creep spread, so it shouldn't be overwhelming initially, but because this is going to feel very hard to the swarm and you're going to have mutas pin Clem back, the creep spread will probably be insane, if I had to guess, because it's been pretty damn good on all the other maps. So, Clem just keep everything back at home, despite going for, again, that same build. He gets 2 engineering bays, I thought. Oh, dear God. Squish. I honestly wasn't even looking at the mutas. I was looking at the production tab.
Yep.
And I heard the squish. Ugh.
That doesn't make up for your bad observer. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I was watching the mutas, so
I know.
you can't even yell at me.
The rock's not being broken down yet for Clem. I mean, for now, we're fine. You don't want lings running by the back of your base, but at some point, you're going to need to get back there. And actually placing down the command center like this is going to make it harder to deal with mutas if they didn't get obliterated moments ago. Because chasing those down through the bases, you're going to already be tight enough on space as is.
Yeah. Well, I really should have 8 mutas instead of 3 here. Oh,
Yes.
God. They don't
Really
kill
should.
SCVs.
Yeah, it's the first time, though, in many games where the micro slipped on them. We were actually, if you remember, reminding a little bit, gushing about how cool his muta control was early on, and watching the micro against the Liberators and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So if it happens again, we're going to start talking about Blythe maybe actually being worn out. But for one time, it's like, okay, cool. He made a mistake in a series where he's playing pretty damn well. I don't think anyone's going to get too upset about it, except for him, maybe. But
Yeah. So, I was, before the mutas died, I was talking about how he doesn't do engineer base, and just was a little surprising he didn't pair up the 1-1. He also added on more barracks before the 3rd CC, so this 3rd CC really isn't, like... It's not late, but it's also not, early either. It's pretty middle of the road, and with the past couple of games that we've seen, he's also been, very hesitant to push out with it, too, because the mutas are usually dominating his position. So we'll have to see if he takes it as quick as he should, I suppose. The Roach transition was pretty quick after he realized the mutas died, basically. So he has 1-1 pairing up with Clem's, because that armor was a little bit late again. And enough creep spreads to push that away. Clem just goes back home. This should mean his 3rd base comes down immediately after turning into an orbital.
yeah, thank you, Twitch chat. I now have a new meaning for Ohana. Ohana means Harambe.
You don't even understand it. This is like the worst case of an old man being like, "What's up, fellow kids?" Except they're all like,
Look,
"Yeah, you're
all
cool."
I know is that if I'm an old man, then I've got even more reason to just get my dick out for Harambe.
That doesn't make any... That's disgusting.
Because you're like incontinent, you know, where am I? And you just like flop it out on the table.
Does that... I think you used the wrong word.
Incontinent, you're right. Incontinent. Not for that situation. Proving furthermore that I am an old man who doesn't know where he is or what he's doing, and is left on the spot. Thank you for calling me out on that. I appreciate it.
Okay, there's an attack, but seriously, I don't think Bly should be taking this. Oh, Bly, what did you just do?
Why is incontinent right now? He just shit the bed with that attack. Okay, so that went about as miserably as it possibly could. The resources lost truly almost tripled. Like it's at 6,000 now almost with Bly. That's not good. He was doing not too bad despite losing the mutas early on, but now he's got no army to fall back. He doesn't have fungals to pair up with this. The upgrades are not in his favor.
He's not controlling Clem as much as the first 7 games, yet he's acting like he is, and that he can just win the game easy peasy. That's the second time we've seen a questionable Roach all in, basically, on the army.
I think part of that really is, like, being lulled into a false sense of security, almost.
Yeah. Well, getting onto the 4th base, I don't think Bly can defend it. No, he's gonna give it up here. This other one is not bad to take, mind you. It's mostly problematic for drops, but Clem hasn't been so drop heavy in the mid game. Oh, that was a really good fungal, but no Corsair Biles to really back it up, so they stay alive for a surprisingly long time, despite all being Marines. And the fight still would go in favor of Clem here. Oh, okay, missed micro on one of the tanks, but still 4 tanks left over. He's certainly taking a good trade on 3 bases with upgrades about to finish.
The problem here, though, is no mutas to chase that down, no fungals to hold it in place, no way for Bly to take advantage of that defensive fight.
So Clem is checking to be like, oh, wait a second, why was it so easy to kill that 4th base? Are you going up to Hive soon? And yeah, Bly is, but really it was easy because you just Bly threw away so many roaches. That was quite bad. It'd be very, very surprising to see Bly get turned around on this best of 31. It also would mean it'd be problematic for what our plan is if it does go to 31 games, let anyone winning. Ace match hype.
I'm not quite worried yet. A game is a game and not the end of the series.
This is the second time he's thrown roaches in. That's the reason he lost on Gwengali. I'm just throwing it out there, right? So Bly, I hope he's not getting this super overconfident. Let's just throw roaches in here.
We're getting a hive tech. We got infestors out. I mean, he's got some stuff going for him, but generally I'm worried about this push.
Yeah. The tank's in a very good position, so if Bly is to move forward with his army, a lot of it's going to get free tank shots. Oh, it gets a good fungal on the medevacs, though, and then a fungal on the tanks. That wasn't supposed to happen. They're supposed to be safe.
And he gets most of the tanks. He retains a massive drone. Like, I actually thought he was going to lose a base with the workers there. 72 drones still going hard on what is soon to be that 4th base setup. This is Bly bringing this back. I mean, look at the resources lost, too. Even if you don't really understand the mechanics of StarCraft, that number used to be really big and far apart. Now it's kind of close.
It's the same, but like in drastically bigger numbers. 2,000 difference? Or is it 3,000 difference? Anyways, it's closer.
2,000.
Yeah, whatever math.
What? It's not even tough math. It's just...
No, before, when it was 2,000 to 5,000.
Oh, before. Okay.
Shut up.
I'm not even read now. I'm like, how can you not read these two very simple numbers in front
Whatever,
of you?
man. How do you mess up your words so often?
You're the one who's incognizant now.
Alright, so base is going to go down again. Clem is macroing pretty well on the backside.
And he just scanned Bly's other base, so he knows about that 4th on the right side. He's sending a medevac over immediately.
Yeah, I like that a lot. As I said, it's like the one weakness of this base, because there's going to be a focus somewhere else, and if you don't have stack defense, it could be tricky.
Big attack on the left side once again. This is the perfect place for those fungals as the Marines funnel down that choke, but not going to be baited into it again. Clem holds his ground. Hopefully with scan, clean up some of these tumors. Segments a couple of Marines off, and a couple of roaches also segmented up here. Bly not going to get away with this, though. They are just going to be obliterated by the defensive tanks. Both players forced to micro in many different ways in many different locations. Once again, going to get some really nice fungal growth to take out a majority of Clem's army.
But all his roaches go down. So the roaches will fall quickly, and the infestor's still in the front line, too, so pretty dangerous, but corrosive bios take care of everything else, so that ended up going in favor of Bly, but Clem...
Oh, no.
Decent army back at home. Could continue the push.
It's good.
What are you doing?
I was getting stressed out. Sorry.
I don't... Okay.
Maybe I was holding back a poof. I don't know what that voice was. But anyways, all just in seriousness are on deck. And the concern for me lies in the fact that that Ghost Academy's late. The last time we actually had this situation arise, Clem actually had a nice amount of ghosts already prepped and good to go when Bly first hit with the Ultras. This time around, he might have a couple at best.
Mm-hmm. A couple roaches going down. The drop never really commenced, I suppose. So we got clean up ice worker. I'm not quite sure. This is where, by the way, Thorzane, I think, really got a lot of his name for the Spoon Terran. He would split the map in half on Ohana against Protoss more specifically or more notably, but the same idea. Like, if you get this base, it is a plateau and you have like a ramp to use tanks against and also ghosts, but his ghosts aren't ready and his tanks weren't quite abusing that high ground. So the fungal goes down, the crucial bios go down, and this might just be the end of Clem here. Even after what was a gimme of like 30 roaches.
I just want to start
Bly was
playing,
able to
like,
recover.
I think like when we get situations like this where like the game's probably over for one or the other, we need to just start queuing up like dueling banjos in the background. This is like races towards like the end of the game.
Oh, a bunker will help.
I mean, well, Ultra's actually.
Oh no, he's a
can't
snipes!
walk over buildings.
Ah! Well, the base goes
the
down, the drop is still commencing.
And Bly is attacking this mining base there on the right side, but not by much. And I think.
Oh, drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it!
I think the fact that he's not dropping it kind of tells you a lot about the situation.
Ah, snipe it, snipe it, snipe it! Pop it! Okay, well.
Pop it, pull it, twist it!
A lot of things could be going on right now. He does eventually drop out of the base, but realizes, like, oh, wait a second, I should have killed this base first.
Yeah, now Ultras are here. It took long
Oh,
enough to
too
get up
bad.
there.
Too late. Nah, Clem is dead.
Fun fact, Clem in French does mean dead in English.
Really? So I also thought it meant like family.
No.
Okay then.
Clem
This
has
game,
taken
worst
his
fight ever.
Hands off the keyboard.
Not sure
See.
which fight he's talking about. There are a couple of bad ones for both sides.
We're talking about the entire best of 31.
Well, that's gonna bring Bly up to a 12-3 lead and only 4 games away from
Oh man!
winning.
Bone diggity!
Yeah. It's game 16? So, not a break. The next... Hey, it's Van Nuys Research Station! You guys can hear us not say it correctly, because that's how we roll.
Because that's how we do. Our way sounds
Exactly.
cooler anyways, man.
It does, and you know, you only do things because they're cool. Just
Like,
throwing it out
I think
there.
the French know that it's spelled hors d'oeuvre, but they pronounce it hors d'oeuvre because it sounds cooler.
Huh.
Needless shots fired at the French. Yeah. Except for Funka. And I just want to make this very clear, guys. The same way, like, whenever Bender says kill all humans, but he also says, like, except Fry, I am always like, haha, French, except Funka. Funka's cool.
Okay, I gotta check Van Nuys. I guess that's what's taking a while.
Yeah, we're also going to probably have to go to break because it looks like Bly's having some internet problems. So we weren't originally going to, but yeah, we'll see you guys in a couple minutes. Thanks for watching so far.
Oh, sorry about that. We are back, and we did find Van Nuys Research Station. Apparently, I don't know, this has happened in the past where different people will just get different results off of anything, BattleNet-wise. So, he says that he has, you know, the Blizzard map search thing, and that it's unchecked ladder maps, and it just won't show up sometimes. Oh well, that happens with BattleNet. Search these up, and get rid of this thing, and then give him 3 points or 4 points? 3 points. It's 12-3, right?
Score update.
Yeah, it's 12-3.
We 12-3, right?
I checked it, I got it.
I'm just being safe because I don't actually know either.
Alright, in the bottom position, as the Red Zerg, he is Bly.
Alright, and it's bonus 3 points on the board, as we've now confirmed. The North going to be the blue Clem.
So, Van Nuys had a couple different cool things about it, and some uncool things about it. So first of all, you don't...
funny?
No, I don't.
Sounds
I
so
honestly
dumb.
thought you said funny, and I was like, well, nothing's funny about this map. Don't.
Vonnie
Serves
sounds
fun.
so dumb for a map name.
It does, Vonnie. Just I don't even. I think I looked it up when we first cast it, what it meant, and then I just gave up. I didn't care anymore. It's like an Indian word, actually. Anyway. So, there is an in-base expansion, which Bly takes, and so does Clem. Some Zerg players start taking this base first so they can get the creep spread going. It's a bit of a trick, though, especially because Hellbat All-Ins and Hellion Banshee was still popular in Heart of the Swarm, and you were quite far away from your main base initially until you got the creep spread going. So, it was dangerous. This is certainly safe. The not cool thing about this map, though, is that A, this base was taken by a lot of Zergs, the gold base, and it was really annoying. And then, for Protoss, I think, specifically. And then B, for Terrans, because mutas were used, and mutas are being used in this best of 31, yeah, this is great, base expansion and all that, except that, like, mutas just come in and come back out, and you just cry, and you don't be able to do very much about it. That has drastically changed now that we have our own anti-muta air units that can chase over this dead space, but oh boy, was it annoying back in the day.
There's also a small period of time, because this was around for a little bit, where Storm hosts were making some action happen here, actually. That jump from base to base was so easy that people were killing naturals left and right.
Literally here to here. They could be used, and it was It was the end point of Heart of the Swarm where they finally changed this away from a map that was literally split map every single flipping game, mech versus swarm host, to the swarm hosts having the air thing going for them. People still tried to use it. This has been, it was in the map pool for quite some time. I think in at least 2 of them. Maybe 3? Because it was around for that swarm host change. I'm not quite sure. And each map pool was around for 3 months. That was a season. Back in the day, that didn't exist. Back in the days, a lot of Caverns could be in the map pool for 8 months because seasons weren't really a thing. Seasons in terms of, like, WCS weren't a thing, that is. Seasons in terms of, like, you could be replaced were... As in replacement match, not you were literally replaced as a human. Anyway. Now it's all... Everyone thinks this is just the way it's always been, but back in my day, things were slightly different. Emote
yes.
Talk like an Egyptian.
That was a terrible song, and the music video was worse.
What? That was an amazing song.
Nah.
Talk like an Egyptian is such a fun song. You just have crappy taste in music. I said it.
I'm not gonna disagree.
Bam.
But it's good enough to realize that that's a terrible song.
Everyone likes Walk Like an Egyptian. Okay? Also,
well, by
everyone...
admission of what I've just said, that makes your
everyone
statement incorrect.
loves...
And if you are no longer a credible resource, how can we listen to anything you have to say?
Well, really, I'm just saying that you're lying to yourself. Also, everyone loves Total Eclipse of the Heart, okay? Like, you hear that on radio.
I'm down for that one.
You're gonna sing that, okay? No one says otherwise is a liar.
Well, only if you're alone or with a good friend. I don't think carpool, you're gonna be like...
I don't know. One time,
of the heart.
when we were very young, my friend's parents picked up my friend for the very first time, having not met her before, and just started singing Queen, Bohemian Rhapsody, after saying they wouldn't. And just shouting it in the car. So, hey, you can do it with anyone. I advise not to do it with anyone, though. That just causes bugs. So this attack has been something that Clem has not been able to get away with. You know, the mutas have been coming out too quickly, and this is what happens when the mutas don't come out exactly the right time. There's not enough lings. This attack can actually work against faster muta builds. Believe it or not, we're finally seeing it happen. Thank God. I don't look like quite so much a fool. But keep in mind, Bly was going for, like, the middle-of-the-road mutas. Not quite after upgrades, but just before. So he's still got the third base, he's still got a decent amount of drones, and that's why his mutas were late to the party. So drone's gonna go down, muta's trying to be target fired, he gets about 2, oh, so close to getting 2, and then splits his medevacs, trying to get 1 away. Probably not gonna happen, Van Nuys is a little too big of a map. But he tried, which is the important thing. Oh, maybe this one will get away.
Once upon a time, I was falling in love. But now I'm only falling apart. And there's nothing I can do. A total eclipse of the heart. It's gonna be stuck in my head all day now. Thanks a lot, Zombie Grub.
That's the only reason I do it. Also, that one song where she's a maniac. Is it just called Maniac? It might just be. That gets stuck in my head a lot.
That's what you like work out to.
She's
that's
maniac.
All right, as the attack, I'm gonna put in air quotes here, commences. Vi doesn't really have a lot he can do. What he can do well, though, I think, is keep Clem a little bit paranoid. Because you've set the precedent in 12, 13, whatever games leading up to this, Clem knows he can't just ignore the mutas and do a blind push. He actually has to pay some attention here. Unfortunately, Bly appears to be doing a little bit more than just simply faking out and ends up losing a muta for it. Well, double expansions back on the other side of the map to make up for losing that base. I like that. I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah, I think it's a good move. Back in the day, before you had Liberators, you would just start spreading Widow Mines around your bases to stop this from happening, because the mutas really do have a lot of room to maneuver otherwise. Oh, dear. How do they squeeze in there, those dastardly rascals? Well, Clem's gonna try and push, but there's already a bit of creep spread, and I think he would be better off pushing to more of a side where he couldn't get surrounded, as opposed to straight up the middle. Clears up creep, however, does not scan for the roach number. Oh, 1,000 Ravagers. Does he have medevacs? He just killed all the mutas with his liberators. That's great, but only one medevac. Scans on the top, sees that there's only, or mostly Ravagers, and he brings a tank forward in the medevac. He could take them on, trade pretty well.
Bly needs this base. Losing the other outer base would have been a lot more acceptable, because now he's got to funnel down a ramp, and he's not in a position to do that quite yet.
Well.
Does get the tank, though, with this Corsair Gear, so maybe not. Picks up most of the Marines, so anything left to fight is going to die. He's just got to run for his life.
I don't think he did it on purpose. I think he meant to pick up the tank. I'm not sure how that would have happened, though, but he makes the best situation out of a bad one. And while he should have been able to tango with the Ravagers, because they were just Ravagers, you take them down pretty quickly, he does have to retreat. I don't think the Ravagers can bust him, and that's kind of the most important thing right now. The drop commences, but Roaches were left behind, so pick him up, drop him somewhere else. Liberator barely alive here, might be getting a couple of drone kills. Oh, that third base was fine. The SCVs along with it were not.
Not if it dies. Okay, there's a lift. Thank goodness. This funnel of a ramp, though, going to have some of the Marauders eat this Corsair Gear. Bly's dedicated a little too much off of creep. He's going to bleed out the the Ravagers, excuse me, for this. He also loses workers to that drop that took way too long to clean up back on the other side of the map. So his main base, not left untouched, took some damage. And some serious damage at that, I'd say.
How? The Liberator? The Roaches were on the men of Reigns. Huh.
Guess either the Liberator got in while he wasn't. No, the Liberator doesn't have any kills. I guess the Marines just got him while he wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
Either way, damage was dealt. Moving on for
Nicely
Tunneling
done.
Claw is going to be interesting. Hopefully, Bly remembers Burrow to go with this because he has not gotten it so far.
Oh no, and this has happened before.
This has happened before, is the thing.
Oh god. Well, it's the fear factor. You know, you see the spikes, so you waste a scan. Clearly worth it. We've analyzed this before.
Fear Factor was a terrible show, by the way.
Yes, the one thing I wanted to do though was they went to Las Vegas on that pyramid, and they had him slide down it, and I was like, oh, that looks fun. Anyway, base goes down pretty quickly here. Bly doesn't bother contesting it because he really can't. Clem's about to have upgrades as well, and he's now got this choke to use it for the tanks, if he does use it. Unfortunately, went a little too far forward. If he backs off, that's fine too, because he knows his opponent's down to 3 bases. Bly could get the gold base and hope it does not scout it. It would have the same problem as Ohana. In fact, the map design can be similar. It's a long, skinny map with, you know, base off to the right here, but it would be susceptible to drops. And then what sucks further is that you could drop here and then drop right into the natural, which back in the day would have spore crawlers to ensure that doesn't happen because it was such a common tactic to go for 16 Marines in the natural. But Bly has not remembered that or bothered with it. And Clem's not doing it anyway, so. Burrow is finally on the way, along with, oh my god, I didn't realize he'd ever got Roach Speed. Huh, oh, okay. Roach Speed after Tunneling Claws, you know, makes sense. And after Burrow, yep. Using that choke because he realizes that's a pretty damn good place to be. Backs away. The Fungals have to reach for only one tank at a time, and that's just not ideal for Bly. A lot of Lings trying to do a counterattack, but there's reinforcements there. He scans the gold base, says, hey, I'm doing a great job then. You don't have a 4th base.
Oh. Haru SOS, we suffer 7 months with more lyrics from the song.
You know that song's about vampires? You would like it.
Once upon a time, there was light in my life. Actually, I don't even have the tune right for that. I should stop. Forgive me.
An Infestor goes down for that, but probably still better for Bly. But overall, Bly is in a lot of trouble.
Right, but there's that back attack set up for this, and I'm wondering when he's going to finally run in with the Lings. I mean, the tanks are obviously going to be shooting one thing or the other, and you want them shooting the Lings over the Ravagers, I'd imagine. And there we go. Lings get on top of the tanks. One goes down, one gets saved, 2 more to go down. It looks like Clem's attack has been stopped once again. Even Corsair Gear is catching the tail end of it. Oh, and some of his own units went awkward.
Oh, no. No, drop it. Kill the Infestor. Oh, drop it. Kill the Infestor. Oh, well, he's going to save it anyway, so cool. There is a huge reinforcement line, though.
Yeah, Bly's actually had so much trouble getting mining going, much less these extra bases. I feel so bad for him because these attacks have been thwarted, but his macro just can't keep up with what Clem's throwing at him.
Oh, damn,
more
yes.
fungal growths are more power, though, and that's 6 more Infestors coming out.
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of potential for a comeback here, but Bly doesn't get the fungals, doesn't get corrosive biles, or his infestors die without a position, and his army is just straight up worse. I'm surprised Clem doesn't get to kill this base. That should be a freebie. He does not see the tunneling claws as well, and did not bother getting a missile turret, even though there's been plenty of time where he's seen the graphical upgrade. It's probably been overshadowed by the infestors and the ravagers. Roaches are the tiniest thing in this army right now. Those are the lings. Tunneling claws still not revealing themselves, aside from the graphic. Engagement goes down, and that's a lot of tanks to run into. Good fungals there, some decent corrosive biles, but now he's out of juice. Roaches are getting in everywhere, though. Killing a lot of SCVs, but 4 bases and a good army. I think Clem still has this. It picks up the tanks, though. Don't let those get fungaled. No fungals left. Oh, don't let those get pounced upon. Drops them again. There you go. Well, the units are kind of low, and doesn't exactly dodge the corrosive biles here, but they're just ravagers. A couple of infestarians coming out just to soak up whatever they can. And this ends up trading army for army, but Clem still has 40 SCVs, despite losing 20.
It's just corrosive bile, his own ravager.
I know, skill. And is... what the flip? Oh, I guess the tank couldn't fit, so they AI'd hard. That could have been bad. But Clem has a lot to fall back to. That's 30 army supply lead. Now with 3-3 to 1-1. Oh my god, I knew he had an upgrade lead, but... look at that 3-3 finish. Jeez.
I mean, the argument can be made. Bly doesn't need upgrades as bad because everything he's doing is spell-based, right? Corrosive biles, fungal growth, they don't benefit from upgrades at all. But the fact that the armor upgrades aren't keeping up are going to mean Clem can just tear through anything like a hot knife and butter.
This has been here for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, a bit of a goof, bit of a gaff. He scans to see what's going on. I think Clem knows his situation's pretty darn good right now.
Really wants to make sure he's not getting away with a gold base. It's gonna be able to deny this one. This was okay back when Van Eye was first released because you were protecting the swarm hosts. And the other iteration of the game, that's just never gonna be a good hatcher to take. Oh, that's a lot of tanks, a lot of medevacs. Fungals do hit the army, along with corrosive biles.
The problem is it needs to be hitting the tanks, it needs to be hitting everything. Like, he just doesn't have enough to blanket that army the way he wants to. Still, this command center denied. Finally scans it, but is there army nearby? I pulls the SCVs for it. That's hilarious. Roaches get trying to sneak under. Not quite gonna happen.
No, don't attack those.
Yeah, the scan still knows what's going on. So, meanwhile, attacking the south still being danced around. Fungal growth, stims, you name it. Lots of just... oh, effect damage going down.
Ooh, that was good on the bio. Also, 2 tanks left behind regardless. The roaches are going to get cleaned up. Did he ever build missile turrets? Oh, maybe not. I just assumed he built a missile turret at least at the front. But those are going to hide there. But the attack on the south side did end up going still in Clem's favor despite those good fungals. GG.
To get an extra, another game.
Yeah. That's going to take us to the 17th game? Yep. Which is not a break. And the next map is going to be Neoplanet S. Neoplanet.
Old school map. Old school indeed.
I really like this map. It was very clean and somewhat pretty, and was one of the first maps, if not the first map, used in competitive play to not have a Zonaga. The more you know, the more powerful you are. Mentally.
And before we get the GSL SSL Season 5 MLG 420 Blaze It version of the map, though.
I would rename a map that and upload it. Wouldn't do anything
to
it, though.
I would do it. Yeah, I keep it. Yeah, right. You keep it super legit. It's actually just like a straight version of the map, but they're like, huh? I wonder what's wrong with it.
Okay, so this should just be the Blizzard one. It's not. It's ESL's version. Whatever. I could have made the Blizzard one, but that's fine.
Okay, well, as we load into the game, I need to get food at some point. I'm actually starting to shake. I'm so hungry. So, would you like me to duck out for this game or the next game?
This game's fine.
Okay, then I will be back shortly.
Okie dokie. So, we're in the lobby. Hopefully it is an okay one. I think ESL New Planet S sounds safe, but you don't know. You never know. Gotta get the other O Gaming caster in here, and we'll be ready to go. 12-4. That is still quite a lead for Bly, who is actually approaching the point of I can count. I can actually, you know, see the finish line, basically. Because, of course, he can count how many games he has to win, but you can see the finish line. When it's game 4 and you're up 4-0, that's a good feeling, but that's still 12 more games to play. And that just, you know, I don't think you're really thinking about it at that point. But when you're only 4 games away from finishing, or getting first but not finishing the series, that looks like the finish line. That's a goal to get to, other than just, let's beat Clem with Midas. Which has been most of these games. Not the last one, though. Clem is really, I feel, starting to get into his groove. I don't know what made him want to try to use those tank drop pushes type deals so much. Maybe he was thinking this is going to be the best defense against a very aggressive Bly, and he wouldn't be entirely wrong, but Bly's aggression is not just all-in based. And maybe he didn't know that, maybe he thought it would be, and then the tank pushes would be great, but they weren't working. So, glad to see him switch it up, and then adapt well to the series in general. I'm definitely trying to play around with this stupid text box. See, when it's a certain size, you can't move it. It won't let you, like, hit the box. So I gotta increase the size of obs and then do the thing. Production! There we go. 12-3. And we're on New Planet S. So, in the top right, as the blue Zerg, he is Bly. In the bottom left, as the red Terran, he's Clem. Wow, I actually cannot get used to the fact that OBS is like 25% bigger on my other monitor. It looks so weird. It looks like something wrong when it's not. Wait a second. It's 12-4. There we go. Ah, now the scores are correct. Good deal. So, Neoplanet S, as I said, one of the first competitive maps, I'm pretty sure, the first one to not have a Zelnaga, like, usually be, like, right here, right? Or maybe along these pathways, but there's just none of them. So that was kind of an interesting little experiment that GSL did? No, Pro League did, right? It was Pro League had this map, because it was Kespa. Anyway, I like this map. The third base isn't exactly super close or intuitive, and there's this big spot right here where if they get you before you're ready, you are going to be unable to save your natural or third base, but that was figured out. I do really like that Clem is cheesing on this map, to be honest. I think that's why I liked this map. There were cheeses in TvZ that included Overlord creep spread highways that were really cool. This was in the beginning of Heart of the Swarm, I believe, so you actually had the Swarm host all-ins off of 2-base Nidus Worms be really cool looking. Oh, Ling's getting in again. So he's going to bring a Reaper back. And you did have proxy barracks. Now, those were Marine proxies, mind you. 2-base two barracks all in. But I like the idea of the Reapers. There is a bit of a ledge here to abuse for Reapers. The biggest abuse, though, and the reason that a lot of people did go for the 2 racks on this map was because you could bunker wall off. And that was cruel. And they never really bothered fixing it. Whereas they got rid of the idea entirely being able to wall off on the bottom of your ramp with these collapsible rocks, or unbiddable rocks, or whatever they're called. They're not collapsible, unbiddable. They never really fixed it here. So that's something that Clem could have done. It would have been very old school, though, and kind of unnecessary when it comes to Reapers. It would have been cool to see. Clem really does not commit very hard to his Reaper rushes, though. He's always banking enough to get a command center pretty quickly after, and it's just... I wonder if it is worth it. The last time we saw this on Gongali Beach, it was just because it gave Bly, I feel, like a sense of overconfidence having defended against it. It also forced him into Roach as opposed to a Spire. Because his end goal is Roaches. He doesn't want to go Roach, Spire, Roach, I suppose. So he just sticks on Roaches and sometimes makes mistakes, being over-aggressive. The more Ravagers come out, the less Clem can do. Clem, as I said, since he does go for like the macro way of doing 3 racks without committing too heavily first, he never tries to get into the main base. He never tries to abuse the ramp. He never tries to get Bly out of position, and as such, it never looks very strong, so it's almost like, why do you bother doing this? But if he sets Bly off in some way or another, he messes up his macro, his plans change, then I guess it could be worth it. Oh, Ravager's taking out those Reapers. Oh, that last hit, not last one. As long as he has enough to stop Bly from doing a counterattack, it's all good, as he is only just now getting his Marine production up. Starport is on the way, so not the quick 3rd CC greed behind this. We'll see if he gets a 3rd CC, though, or an extra 2 barracks in the next few minutes. More Reapers going down without doing too much. A little unfortunate. Bly should be reaching for the 3rd here. There we go. 4th is kind of far away, and there are... It certainly can be tricky to defend against drop plus push, especially when the Terran takes this space and pushes into your 4th, but that is a bit ways off. Some of these games are not getting to that point. Some of them are. Scan goes in the natural. That's weird. I don't think Bly's been going for layers at his natural. Oh. A Reaper should go and see if the 3rd base is down. Or a Reaper should go to see that, and another Reaper go to see the main base, because he has still lots. The Roaches do try and get into the natural, but there's also enough Marines that this would not have killed Clem. At best, it would have traded out. That's what he was hoping to do, though, with the Ravagers, was to free Marines. Fortunately, that tank was well timed. Queens could go down. Clem should focus them. But instead, he gets a little bit greedy and goes straight for the drones. Now that Queen won't go down, transfuse. Pretty big hit on the drones, but not quite the catastrophic hits that kill them all, just getting them all weak. And I still think he should have gone for the Queens. But at this point, he is just sacrificing them. He did end up getting a scout and sees a lack of a lair, so gotta feel good about that. No dealing with a Spire, no dealing with Tunneling Claws quite yet, and just knowing that you have some time to get to combat shields and +1. 10 drones to go down entirely, so not the worst use of Reapers. Oh, we do have more barracks instead of a 3rd CC. So Clem's gonna pile on the pressure. Neoplanet, not a big map whatsoever. So you do have some pretty fast reinforcements. Not the fastest, because it's not a direct path. Natural to natural. Or natural to 3rd base even. You gotta go like up here and around there and then around the bend. So Bly's already predicting that and taking care of at least the rocks here. Clem should be going to the north. The south is tricky. While it's not a huge wide open area like for instance the north side of New Gettysburg, it doesn't have a ton of ledges to put your tanks against. Really any at all. It would definitely deny a 4th base, though, because you can keep him back here and then push in. Or even over here. Bly is not reaching for the 4th base yet, though, and he could take this one. So, as I said, this is not really a super good choke for the tanks. If Bly has enough units, he should be able to get a good enough concave and push this back. It is only 2 tanks, after all. Not the 5 or 6 that he's been running Roaches Ravagers into the mid-game. But Clem gets pretty confident, takes out 2 Queens almost, then takes on the Roach army before backing off. He wants that Queen, man. Oh, she goes down, finally. And Clem could back off from this, I think. Unless he had reinforcements literally right about to reinforce this, he has to be very careful. So, doesn't quite pull back, but is ready to at a moment's notice. 16 Roaches on the way as Bly has gotten up to a decent drone count. 54 is not perfect, and he hasn't even taken his gases yet, but it is decent. And Clem is certainly keeping him away from thinking of a 4th base. Not quite sure he wants to take it. 3rd base for Clem finally on the way. Remember, this all started off with a 2 base. The concave is still pretty good for Bly, but there's 3 tanks. Nah, it's not going to do it. They're pretty spread out too, so it's a little bit hard for the medevacs to pick them up. That tank is just going to be dead in the... If it's not going to go well, it's not going to go well. Yeah, so... Tank goes down anyway. Would not have had a medevac to pick it up, so it was dead. Always going to be dead. Losing all those Marines kind of sucked. He does have a reinforcements, but it's such a small one. I don't think he should continue. He should be very careful about being over-aggressive, I suppose. To Clem's credit, he did clear up all the creep spread, and Bly has not been planting it back down quite yet, despite having queens in the front line. He also still has not gone for a 4th base. No counterattack set up either, and Clem is going to get to his 3rd maybe easily. He's very paranoid about Lings, you can see. But he should be okay to get his 3rd over here. Once again, attacking into this concave. A lot of these tanks are very, very low. 1 goes down, 2 go down. Other one is just barely picked up in time. And Bly does send Clem packing. Clem, I really think, should just wait for his 3rd base and wait for a bigger army. He's not really on a clock. There's no hive. Again, there's no 4th base. Upgrades aren't exactly good for him, but they're not super falling behind either. And he probably just should have used all this to focus on his macro as opposed to trying to micro and win. But now it's Bly that could risk being over-aggressive. A little scary there. I think Clem has made a huge mistake, though. He's down 50 army supply, and he's down in upgrades. It's now a bit questionable if he can secure a 3rd base, and he should be trying to do so now. Right now. There he goes. I think a drop would be in order, more so than pushing again. I don't know. Bly's going for the melee upgrade right off the bats. Looking for those ultras eventually, of course. Oh, the Lings. Oh, he was so good about this, and then he isn't, you know? It was bad. A couple Marines on the high ground ramp here ended up blocking out Lings, AI'd. Not dealing super amounts of damage, but certainly interrupting mining and keeping Clem back and distracted, so Bly moves in with the rest of his army. He still has an upgrade lead, but not for long. He could certainly stop this 3rd base from mining, however. Clem needs to get his units in position, needs his tanks on the ledge here. Or this ledge, a ledge, somewhere. There he goes. Goes for the main. Drop him, drop him, drop him. There we go. He does not have a lot of bio to protect this. That's the scariest part right now. His tank count is good. The ledges defensively are great, and Bly's not going to be able to push in. But any single time he does this, he could have Lings going to the south, and that could disrupt mining. He does have his entire army. Not really what I was thinking, but same deal, I guess. Clem is, regardless, distracted in one way or another. He scans, he's no 4th base, feeling pretty good. There is a 4th base on the way, however, just, you know, not even halfway done. And it's maybe it turned to a bit of a base trade. I'm looking for road reinforcements. Nope, no base trade. I think Clem should realize, like, wait a second, where's your army? Now that he sees Roach going into his 3rd base, he does immediately pull, but you gotta wonder where his army is. That can't all be all of his army. He's about to be sandwiched. Oh, God. Oh, no. It's a Clem sandwich. All of his tanks on the backside. 5 tanks. No! Now down to 2. Does leave room to pick up the rest of his army, and no fungals quite yet. So he's able to leave. But he has quite the supply gap to even up here. Still down in upgrades. Going to be down for another minute, and certainly during this attack here. Oh, he needs a hope in the power of tanks. Tanks? Gotta get your shots in? The fungals are about to hit, though. He needs to make sure not to get those medevacs all fungled. Goes back to that high ground, and Bly does not have high ground vision for this, so that is always going to be that defensive point for Clem. His base is back up in mining, but it's 80 supply he has to catch up on. And he didn't see these tunneling claws roaches. Oh, God, no. Oh, this is going to be... Oh, it's going to be so painful. Oh, and the fungals! No! Oh, okay, they didn't quite hit, but the roaches did their job. So while he can't take care of the tanks quite yet... Oh, God. Oh, that fungal and the medevacs is amazing. I was going to say, he could send roaches to the 3rd to disrupt mining, and Clem really would not be able to do very much about it. He finally scanned to the north, and he will have a drop take care of Bly's 4th base, but I think he was already too aggressive in the mid-game, and it's all come tumbling down. Clem is going to lose the 13th game. Not in a row, though. That's the good news. GG. That's going to put Bly at 13-4.
Same thing happened again. I'm going to restart the call again.
Okay. Am I supposed to talk him, or... Yeah? Oh, he's calling me. Hello.
Hey. Does it sound okay on my end?
Yeah, it's okay.
right.
That's going to take us to game number 18, which should be a break. And we're going to see you guys as soon as the lobby's ready. Hello, it's game number 18, and it's going to be on Overgrowth. So, this has been used in the GSL, or it's been used in one of the Korean leagues. I've stopped keeping track, even though I watch them. So, whatever. But the point is, this is still a very familiar map for all of you. I doubt I have to go over what makes it so interesting. But for Bly's sake, as someone who has still been doing the gold-based rush on Galactic Process, he could do it again here on Overgrowth.
Yeah, this would actually be the most, excuse me, conducive map to try and pull that back and bring it out for again. But this is not exactly a series that has still been really back and forth. There's still a lot of issues here where Clem has got to pull a lot out of his back pocket. And if Bly wants to play this one pretty standard, I mean, this is also another map back in the day where fourths were pretty accessible for all, and Overgrowth, of course, has even the gold base really close by if you're not going to take your opponents and proxy it.
Yeah.
There's just a ton of ways that this could be pretty good for Bly, and whether it's cheese or standard, I hope Clem can adapt, because it's very clear at this point, adapting does not appear to be his strong suit.
No. He's getting better, though. Like, he's not just rolling over to mutas. He's not taking always terrible engagements. He's starting to play a little bit smarter and realize where he can play a little more confidence. But it's still Bly, even the games that Bly loses, who's by far more confident. Sometimes that's his weakness. Clem was trying to eat his dinner, I suppose.
That's been quite a long match. I'll give it to him as like an amateur player. It's going to be rough trying to play such a long and extended series like this.
Mm-hmm. Bly is used to this type of stuff.
Yeah, Bly, as we said earlier, he plays all freaking day. He doesn't care.
Yeah, he's like, I ate my dinner in two minutes, so you should be able to do the same. Alright. To be fair, like, I figure Clem's in the same position that I am, where, like, probably his mom gave him dinner, and it's like a full plate of, like, you know, an actual dinner, where Bly just had, like, a sandwich.
Shut up.
Man, sometimes I prefer not having a plate of whatever my mom made.
Sometimes I prefer not being served a free dinner that was made with love and care and brought to me in my room.
Yeah, love and care, I don't know. You know.
Your mom's just like, I fucking hate my kids. And she just slops down like mashed potato after mashed potatoes, like stirring it aggressively in the pot. I hope you, like, whispers into it, Jessica, I wish you'd fucking move out. Just as she like stirs it like very grimacingly.
That was quite a picture you painted. No, I meant more like she just makes it, doesn't really care. So,
see, that's how I mentioned my face.
You know, yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that depressing. So we do have SCVs coming out here. So let's get the intros done. The bottom left, as the red Zerg up 13-4, he is Bly.
And his opponent trying his best in the series, still in it to win it. It's the blue Terran player, Clem. So we are still not at the actual point where the scales tip. We're still not at a stage where somebody has definitively won this, but it is looking so good for Bly, and there's no arguing that. I mean, you're up by such a massive lead. You really have to screw up hard the next several games to throw this away.
The next is 7 games, yeah. Oh, that would be quite impressive. I do like that Clem is going for the Marine proxy, though. It worked once on Merry-Go-Round, which was fairly common for 2 racks. Overgrowth also had its 2 racks builds, and this was a common position to put the proxy racks, I might say. So, I must say, rather. So, Bly could have had a overload over here. You know, if this was Overgrowth. If this was Overgrowth in the ladder map pool, like literally he's playing on it every single day, I think he does have an overlord looking for this, but not everyday usage for these guys. Means that his overlords are going to go to 1 to the main, you know, keep around there, and then 1 to this little pillar here. So this is really just him not having any idea. It could have been more complicated had Bly gone for the proxy gold. I kind of wish he did, but it will just be about him defending in a similar fashion to the merry-go-round game, which he was unable to defend because Clem was able to hide it for so long. Lings go across the map. There is a wall off that really should not be not walled off. Buddy pal.
It shouldn't not be walled off. Got it.
Yes. That should be raised after the SCVs die. Or leave, rather. They might die. Okay, he's gonna push the Lings back. So, of course, Bly at this point knows exactly what's going on. It was a little iffy by seeing one Marine, but you see the SCVs pool, you know. Unfortunately, there are already so many Marines here, and it's deja vu for merry-go-round all over again. SCVs are tangling with the Lings in the middle of the map, but they're really not as important as just having a good number of Marines in the forefront. Bly changed things up by going for a Spine Crawler in the main here, so it won't be killed, but it's still only about halfway done. SCVs are making it across now. Barely survive. They got war wounds. Oh, JK. Okay, they died. So, this is where things get interesting. This could have been an option for Bly on merry-go-round, except that he tried to take it with the drones. Oh, this is an Overlord. That sucks. So, now that the hatchery's down, what can he do? He can take one Marine at a time with these amount of Lings. He could probably hold in the main base if he transfuses the Spine Crawler. And if he wasn't supply blocked, he'd have more Lings. That Spine Crawler ain't helping. It's like, hey guys, I'm gonna need moral support way over here.
I mean, this was one of the things that did get Clem a victory. Let's not forget about it. So really fighting to the last, and Bly this time around not being tossed around as easily as that first time. That bunker's not going to finish up, but the Marines have taken care of the Lings. Will these Queens be enough? Transfuses going on, but it looks like they're just barely going to have to back away. The Spine Crawler, however, does complete. More Lings are about to pop out. And if Bly can hold this position, a counterattack has already destroyed the working line of Clem. So all Bly has to do is stop this from killing him, and he's good to go.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Oh, it was another Overlord, though, damn.
Mistakes being made, sure.
But if he can't produce 4 Marines at a time, which he's barely not able to do, Bly should be able to outproduce him 19 drones to 7 with a Mule. Yeah, seeing the income, it's still in favor for Bly. Sends whatever Lings he can across the map, it's 2. So he can take on 1 Marine if it's not microed. Gets it! Nailed it! But now we have reached an impasse on the front. That bunker is certainly scary, but Banelings are ready to go. They're ready to tango, and Clem now sees them. What can you do? You can target fire them, but only so many. Only so many! Oh my god! Wow, he targeted down to all of them. That was impressive. And his bunker still lives. Bly was really supposed to break him there. Oh, he salvages it. Because he can't afford to build 4 Marines at a time. I think the Spine Crawler Queen duo has this. I'm not even sure Bly needs to make Banelings, but if he gets this around, then they will KO all the Marines.
Well, it's not just that, but it's the transfuse is what's going to eventually win out here above all else.
Oh,
the more time he waits to get in there, the more transfuses will be available. And I mean, the Banelings are a little bit tentative to go in now. At some point, he's going to have enough to just roll in easy peasy and not even worry about it.
Here we go again. Focus fire on the Banelings does occur. A little bit of splash damage, but there's just enough Lings. So that's that. Clem cannot reproduce a Marine army. It's barely producing 4 at a time to get to the 4 he has right now. 6 he has right now.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Clem's trying to come back. He's not really producing SCVs, though. It's just Marines, more Marines, and more Marines. But it's a full wall off. And, oh, he's going to bust it. Okay. I was going to say that would keep the Lings out for some time at least. But 6 Banelings, all he's going to need. It's not going to be enough damage to focus that down. Top of the ramp on lockdown. No matter how many Marines come in here, Spine Crawlers are going to win this fight out.
Yeah, he should be able to get the cancel on the hatchery. But the Baneling bust. The Baneling bust. He leads with 4 Banelings? What? Why? Huh?
It's reasons.
What? What just happened?
I don't know, but it doesn't actually break the wall, and this is a big problem for Bly. He may have really, really fucked up.
What?
I mean, he lost the natural base, so that's unfortunately the situation. But he's still got a lot of workers mining.
Did he cancel
should still
it?
be. I shift K.
Thanks.
No, killed.
Oh my god, he killed it. Oh my god.
But that being said, Black should still win this game. Like, the Lings will be able to hold on the ramp. There's some transfuse for the Spine Claw. Unless he missed the transfuse. He's got a couple more where that came from. There's the transfuses. And the Marines are pushed back pretty easily.
There's the links around too.
Yeah.
GG.
GG.
Wow, that got a little bit awkward.
Yes, indeed.
14-4. And the next map, what's it gonna be? Habitation Station. Just 4 racks again. Make it work.
Yeah, and quick reminder about things as we get into this, as we continue going, guys. First off, there's still a Match.Arena page for this if you're willing to contribute, if you want basically to give Bly money. Consider donating. We're also working on setting up a Match.Arena page right now. Harstom's making it for his All-Star show match that we'll be trying to cast a little bit later today. That's going to have quite a few good players in it. Base prize pool is going to be $200 with 100 codes available through Match.Arena too. So those guys will get some nice money.
Cool.
I'm just really interested in them coming on Skype to shit talk. I want to see what that sounds like because I know Harstom's got some good smack talk in him. So does Mini Razor, but I'm not sure about the other guys.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the next lobby's almost up.
Yeah, Habitation Station. What's your location?
Wait, when? Oh, that's right. Never mind. Never mind.
So Bly is now, is it 2 games away from locking this down?
Yes.
Very nice.
The leftover maps that have been given, at least, are Habitation Station, Frost, and Red City. And then everything else didn't get a map. So I don't know if it's going to be loser's pick or what.
Yeah, I'm wondering about that too. We'll find out, I guess, as we get through this.
Thank you to Weetabix for the 13-month resub and Ta _ for the 13-month resub. Twinsies.
Weetabix hype.
Twinsies. Ooh boy, this has been a long cast.
There, zombie grub.
There, me.
Don't worry, there's a lot more to come still.
Well, now that we're casting 5 other games at least.
Well, not just here, but yeah, that other set. Although I will say a break in between, I think will make it not so bad.
If you say so. The map is underway here. We'll see if any cheese comes down from either side. In the top right as the Red Zerg. Why does it seem so much more detailed than anything else? It is Bly.
Right? I noticed that on the last map too. It felt like there was more shadow or something, but good old Clem! Looks like he is old enough to remember the dynamics of this map, and this was a very common thing to do. And with his Raxes being his forte, this is actually a great choice. Now, Bly's, of course, reminiscing Skylight versus Bomber. Clem kind of going to be shitting his pants for a second, being like, oh, wait, what? Oh, shit, does he know?
I don't think Bomber did that versus them.
No, but just that first line, like, good old times. It's kind of like, oh, shit, that's right. This is like, oh, man, like, does he know that I've done this? I mean, the Overlord's going to scout it in a moment, and Bly did go first, so I think Clem is in for a tough fight, to say the least.
Well, the thing about this was always, it's called the Gangnam Style, Terran, if you want a history lesson, is that it's always going to be scouted. Like, the Overlord's never going to take another path here that's going to scout a minute later. So, it's not about being scouted or not being scouted, although some people did try and stop it from occurring, I think, with like a drone pool or something like that. I can't remember. You have enough minerals to not only get a bit of aggression with Marines, so like 2 racks obviously, you also have enough minerals that we've seen plenty of macro games off the back of this where you do an odd little expansion pattern of like, this is your natural and this is your third. There's enough cases of that.
This is my gun.
So that could happen here. But first, it is about the racks pressure. 3 or 4, depending on how much they wanted to commit to it. I think it's 4. I actually can't remember. I never did it either, and I guess the vote would be different, so I'm not sure.
I wish I could clap my hands properly. I'd be like, 3 more Raxes. Do, 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 do. 1 more 8 pool.
It's a factory. So he's going to not just do a marine pressure, but probably a real tank push with this.
I like that actually quite a bit. Unfortunately for Bly, though, or excuse me, for Clem, Bly's not going to be screwed the way Zerg were in the past, and they actually have ways to break tanks, i.e. Ravagers in this instance. And if Clem's still going to try and squeeze out a medevac on top of it, do all the dancing and song and dance, the one thing I want to point out that I'm more worried about was the income right now. You've got a mule giving Clem that extra couple hundred minerals, sure. But minus that mule, Bly's on just as good of economy as Clem. And the reason gold bases aren't as important nowadays is because you had so many extra workers start off. Like, the liftoff, I think, almost may have hurt Clem nowadays, opposed to when you started with, what was it, 6 workers or whatever, instead of 12?
I'm not sure how that math works.
My point of it is, you need less workers to fully saturate a gold base, and that makes it very appealing when you have less workers in play. When you have a lot of workers starting off the game, that gold base is not as big of a deal. And my only point to bring home with this is, as Bly starts saturating up his natural, if he squeezes out any more drones, his income's going to match that of Clem's very easily.
It does mean you need to make less SCVs, right? Overall. That's
true. Maybe more or something. I don't know. I just think that the gold base does not outweigh the new Legacy of the Void starts, is all I'm saying.
Well, I think it's going to be a boost no matter what. As I said with the Mule, he was winning about 200, 300. Now that he's being denied, he's losing.
I mean, yeah, this was a problem. Zerg could never have done this before in the past.
Certainly true. Protoss could. So this is always tricky to do versus Protoss, and probably not even advisable.
He's bled out like half his worker count at this point.
Yep.
The Marines are going to catch the Ravagers, though Bly was not paying attention. He got a little bit tunnel vision-y, so a bit unfortunate there. However, still killing 10 SCVs puts Clem down to 9, and no matter what he wanted to do for production, it's severely limited.
Oh, what is he doing with this tank?
It's another hit on the SCV line, by the way.
11, 14.
You auto-mining sons of bitches. 5 workers remain.
Yeah.
Bly should be able to hold and win, I think.
Clem really didn't need more reinforcements. He needed another medevac and their tank, consistent marine production. Because this is a scary force early on, but it's not one that can just instantly like stim and win. It literally can't stim. So that's why he's being pretty aggressive with the tank already. He's gonna get a queen, almost. No, the medevac, no, the medevac. Yeah, Bly's got enough to clean this up. The Ravagers really made the biggest difference.
Yeah. Killing
so many SCVs so easily. Well, he went down a ramp and lost a lot of the Ravagers though, so maybe I shouldn't speak too soon. The ramp is the most complicated part for both parties. You know, Ravagers hit him on the ramp, or his tanks hit the Ravagers on the ramp. Also, Habitation Station was always interesting because that's such a shallow ramp to use. But anyway, Ling surround now, and the medevac is so close to dying. There we go. If only Queens had more range. And now they do.
Yeah, GG. So much has changed since HOTS that sort of move just doesn't work. I like the idea. Clem, if this was a year ago, man, you would have had me fall in love with you. But unfortunately, and Legacy of the Void, not going to be the case.
I like that he tried it.
I do too, but I do wonder if this is the difference of preparation and anticipation of that map, or if that was desperation due to the way things have been going with Bly and the fact that he only seems to be able to do damage for those early games, like all-ins.
At this point, he should really just be trying to do the same thing Bly is, which is get people to like him and give him money. For whatever games he does win, I suppose. But
so what's the score right now?
It's 15-4.
Oh, can't confirm that.
Someone is almost won, and that someone is Bly.
Yeah, so again, for us guys, there will be more games played after, but if Bly wins this next one, we're gonna go offline. Because he'll have won the best of 31 majority-wise, but for us, we're trying to set up cast something afterwards too, so.
Frost is now the map, something we're all familiar with. Red City would have been interesting to watch, and we might still get to see if Clem wins it here. The Red City was pretty Terran favored, especially when it came to Reapers. If I'm thinking the right map, I think I am. It's a big map, but there was a lot of ledges. So I remember watching Muslim abuse the shit out of that map. Oh, stretch.
I love the team names Harstam just told me for the teams.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so it's all kill format, which is really interesting.
Okay.
The team name it's okay. On one side, it's Euthermal, Major, Harstam, Lambo, and Xenocider. It's like almost all the Terrans on one team. Called Team Carried by Chang. For those who don't know, that's Xenocider's last name. The other team is True, a Laser, Marine Lord, Mini Razor, and a Muslim. And the team name is We're Lucky We Don't Have Xenocider. Also, I think I have a lobby bug, so I'm gonna hold that for real quick.
Alrighty. Those aren't super common anymore.
No, but it was not entering. Anyways, so yeah, it's going to be an all-kill format, 5v5. That'll be pretty cool. It was going to be 4v4, but I'll take a 5v5 even better. And the players are each putting in $25, and then we'll crowdfund through Matcherino and see if we can get them a few more bucks.
Whew. Excuse me. Clem, where'd you go? Clem, where you be?
Oh, well, I'm glad it wasn't just me who was late to the party.
Mm-hmm. So did you ever watch Ninja Warrior?
I have from time to time American Ninja Warrior.
Okay, so you didn't watch the regular, like, Japanese one? Yeah, American Ninja Warrior is so much more popular now than I think the Japanese one is, but the first one was the Japanese one on G4TV. I really liked it. I cheered for a couple of different people. But anyways, I do pay attention to American Ninja Warrior now. And especially because there's this like kick-ass woman who just completed the second stage. Which is pretty cool. It's not super common. I am just perusing Facebook as we wait. Not gonna lie.
So we may not get a break, by the way.
Great.
They want to start in about 40 minutes. I said, well, Bly's one game away from this. Let's see where we're at for there. But we want at least like a 20-minute break to rest and get some food or something, I think.
Uh-huh.
So.
Thank you to Electron Hammer for the 13-month resub. You guys still sending out TOOFs? We've never stopped. So, yes. If you need one, then you're too late for this month.
Yeah, well, we send about once a month. Well, Zombriev's actually the one who does all the mailing now because she's fucking awesome. And but once a month or so. So if you guys have been subbed for over a year, if you're wondering how to get your Partoof, I guess the TLDR is first and foremost, yeah, you gotta be subbed for 1 year, and then followed up by the fact that you send us a message on Twitch. I verify that message has been sent from somebody who's been subbed to us for a year, and I give you the form to fill out. You fill out said form, that way nobody else sees your address except for us, and your private information is not leaked. And then we send you the mail at our earliest convenience. It's not really a set time, like we don't send it on the 5th of every month or anything like that, but just usually whenever we can.
Yep, at the end. Alright, finally ready to go. Climb out a bit of a BattleNet bug.
Okay, and well, I guess it wasn't just me. And then for the Hearthstone team kill thing, if this ends here now with Bly, he's cool. I said we want like at least 15-20 minutes break or so. They're cool with that waiting. So.
Okay. Well, Frost is a map in the current ladder pool, so Clem might feel a bit more familiar.
It's actually interesting because it is also from the older pool, of course. So a bit of both.
Yeah. I gotta get their score set up. In the top left, as the red Zerg, he is Bly.
And his opponents in the bottom are going to be the blue Terran player, Clem.
I definitely didn't update the last time.
So, well, you fiddle with whatever it is you're fiddling. Just that reminder, guys, that 31 games are going to be played out in this best of 31. But we did not know that until we got into like game 2 today. So we were not able, or we were not really prepared to commit to like a full 31 matches, especially with this being a little bit one-sided the way it is. So after this actually concludes for a quote-unquote winner, so Bly now 1 point away from winning. If he wins this game, then he's technically won 51% of the matches type thing. Then we're gonna go to a small break and cast something else afterwards. But we'll stick with it until it gets to at least a winner's point. Because that's what we thought we had signed up for.
This is the 20th game. So that's at That's was it best of 31? 11 more games. I guess would have been like a 8 or 9 outcast.
Yeah, I believe O Gaming and Take TV will be sticking through it though. So if you guys really need to see more Bly and Clem, there will be streams for it. But we will be coming back with again the list out those other teams, because this is actually a really sick lineup for foreigners, right? You got Eutherma, Major, Harstem, Lambo, and Xenocider versus True, Alazer, Marine Lord, Mini Razor, and Muslim.
Cool.
And they've apparently want to come on Skype to do shit talking, which makes it all the better for me.
Well, the map is Frost and does get cross spawn, which is unfavorable for Clem. The other map that he would have been super comfortable with was Apotheosis. I might have been comfortable with other maps, having been in the scene for at least 2 to 3 years, but this is the one that everyone's playing on a daily basis. And unfortunately, Apotheosis wasn't really, great for him. It's not great for Terrans. Currently, it's not great in a best of 31. Frost cross spawn is also kind of the same deal. You don't get the same abusive, 2-base tank pushes that are instantly rallied. If it's horizontal spawn, you just have to basically deal with the fact that you have extra time to defend. So Clem could play like a more defensive game, but that's really not the way that Terrans want to go. It's usually the way that Zergs want to go, but not this Zerg, because Bly does once again go for the 2-base Spire. Lings wrap around that damn Reaper again, are gonna get into that SCV. Should not get much farther though, and ooh, Clem is really mixing things up. He's gonna go for Hellions. Usually only to be used for a hellbound attack.
Don't drop the mule into the Lings.
Oh, that's a mistake.
Feels bad, man. He just lost the mule this early in the game, too. Later on, the mules, I think, are a lot less important, but forced to lift, lost a mule, lost an SCV. Did get a creep tumor for his troubles.
Yeah, and saved the Reaper. For now. But Bly gets a scout on the Hellions, so this won't be a surprise. I wonder if he's going to be going for, well, first of all, Banshees, because he has an open tech lab, but also for an armory.
I'm going to guess that tech lab ends up being for the factory just to swap over to tanks after, with the way Clem's been playing at least. But no, you're right, it might just be Banshees. Okay, then. I would have really... Oh, it's a Nidus Room out of Bly. I was going to say, though, I really would have expected tanks out of Clem. He's been such a tank guy through all the games leading up to this one. Yeah,
he's trying to abuse. Unfortunately, Reaper goes down. Maybe could have gotten a scout on the Nidus Room had it dived for a drone, but now it's never going to be scouted. The Hellions can't dive. Not against 3 queens. It would not be worth it, so they're not going to get a scout. And if he scans the main and sees a lair, he's going to assume that it's 2-base Spire, as I did. Because that's what Bly's been doing. So I like that Bly finally changes it up once to really take advantage of that if the Reaper had even gotten a scout, which did not. And while Banshees can certainly help, that's where the queens come in, so they're not the instant defense. He will see the roaches, not quite the Nidus Worm though, and that doesn't tell him a lot. 3 roaches is just, that's defensive roaches. And if he's gonna make a foolish attempt to run across the map with them, then Clem's okay with that, but it's not that. It is a Nidus Worm. He could have put it hidden. I don't know why I just put it right in front of the buildings there. Transfuses do come down, and the Banshee, oh my god, almost goes down immediately. The Overseer's here anyway, so it's not going to be helped out too much. Again, it's doing some serious work, and all the Transfuses are gone, but the Nidus Worm isn't being targeted. Oh my god. That might just be it then. Queens are going to go down, but Lings are reinforcing. More Queens on the way.
Yeah, if that medevac gets that tank, then you start thinking of the maybes and the hopefullys, but unfortunately, still not looking like that's going to be the case.
Oh god, I didn't get the tank. Oh jeez. Oh no.
Now the Nidus Worm comes down. I mean, why heal one if you just build another? GG, ladies and gentlemen, Bly will be the one who ultimately takes the series.
Yes, he has won, but they're going to continue playing.
Yes, so this actually ends up perfectly for us, because this will give us about a half-hour break where we're going to just, we're not going to take the stream down. We'll just mute it and put a break screen up and all this stuff. And we should be back in about 30 minutes with this impromptu other all-kill team, custom team thing, which will be kind of cool. This will pair up well for a bit of a preview what our, hopefully our temporary team league that we're hosting is going to look like too. So again, thank you guys for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the cast. Congratulations to Bly for being awesome. Once more, check out the O Gaming Matcherino page. If you want to donate money, it's pretty much guaranteed at this point Bly is going to get the majority of it. So it's a good way to get some money to Bly if so you do feel inclined. But we're going to be pushing Match Arena pretty hard in a little bit. So, yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll be back in 30-ish.